is a difference in mortgage companies. War Eagle, roll tide. NMLS 1586-36-8, equal housing lender.
New CBS Tonight.
All right, people, all hands on deck.
FBI is back.
I don't really recognize the world anymore. My team saw things, survived things.
There's something else going on here. Something bigger.
FBI, don't move!
I know what kind of people you are, and I'm not giving up. We are FBI here, and we still have a job to do to protect people.
That's motion.
FBI tonight at 8 p.m. on WAKA.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a prospector.
That's right, man. I'm prospecting for gold. You dig?
No, but it looks like you do.
And you know the first thing I'm going to do when I strike it rich?
What's that?
I'm going to hire David Ernest to be my money man.
You mean everyone's favorite asset preservationist?
That is correct, man. I'm going to call him up at 833-596-7233. 833-596-SAFE.
You know, I've heard a lot of good things about David Ernest.
You know, he's the best money man around with over 40 years of experience.
Experience is necessary, especially when you're digging for gold.
That's right, man.
And I can see that you don't have very much experience.
What do you mean, man?
Well, you have the little plastic bucket and shovel like a kid would take to the beach.
Yeah, man. Well, I want to start out small and kind of pace myself up until I strike it rich.
Well, maybe you should call David Ernest first.
You think he's got a shovel?
Never know till you ask.
I dig, man.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Fugazi, it's a fake.
Yeah, Fugazi, Fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust. It doesn't exist. It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not real.
Right? That's how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. In just a moment, we'll get to more of the ongoing back and forth and attempt, I would say, flaccid attempt, impotent attempt, to cancel Tucker Carlson. I love seeing Tucker at the 1890 News Albert Patterson second annual gala event. If you haven't watched Dave Smith's talk with Tucker last night, I think you're missing a lot of context and missing the boat on that. But again, there will be plenty of time as we head into the show. Though after scrolling X too much this morning, I definitely got the whole Carlson cancellation attempt on my mind. But let's start local and bring on somebody. It's been too long since I've talked to her. It's always too long, but we find time here or there. We have Stephanie Smith. She is, I believe, CEO and president of Alabama Policy Institute. Stephanie, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Joey.
Thanks for being on. Now, I want to begin with, y'all just put out at API a piece on the connection of the Alabama Education Association, in particular with the National Education Association, and how I think the rebranded, more conservative AEA is, they're wolves in sheep's clothing in many ways. I don't think they are friends to conservatives or conservative causes in Alabama. Could you lay that out for folks about the supposedly new and improved AEA?
Sure. So for the last several years, since the supermajority shift in the state of Alabama, the Alabama Education Association, which is really the teachers union for the state of Alabama, has tried to reframe their leadership and reframe their issues as being mostly Republican, since the state is mostly Republican. The trouble with that is multifold. Firstly, they are, and this is what we were pointing out in the I think it was 24-page report that we did, was something that should be pretty obvious, but the AEA tries to distance themselves from, which is the Alabama Education Association is actually the state affiliate of the National Education Association. And the reason the AEA tries to distance themselves from the NEA is that the NEA is likely one of the most liberal and woke organizations that exist in the United States of America. So AEA routinely in the hallways in Montgomery will say, oh, we're one of you, or this is an organization led by Republican women, but it's an organization that is being funded by the National Education Association, as well as their membership dues, to the tune of multiple millions of dollars a year. And they're clearly tied to them both financially and organizationally. And so when they try to distance themselves from that, we just wanted people to know that that's disingenuous. And then also point out some of and we got about 10 inches deep of a 20-foot pool of all of the information that is readily available about the level of leftism that is the National Education Association.
Do they have any leg to stand on to say we've distanced ourselves, and we are because we're a local chapter? But I don't think there really is one, as much as you get the kinder, gentler, at least tone publicly.
Yeah, and what has ended up happening is that there's a tone shift-ish, meaning what they say to their own members in their newsletter, which is now under lock and key through password. And, that's their prerogative. That's a membership organization. They're not a public organization, except for they are part of the public health insurance program and the retirement system. They can put their advocacy information under lock and key. That's fine. But what is disingenuous is them saying one thing in the public and another thing to their membership when they're talking about advocacy. And our big beef with AEA lately has been their opposition to school choice legislation. They were opposed to the AAA scholarship program in 2013. They were not supportive of the expansion of charters either time that legislation has come through. They were very proud of the fact and took credit for killing the Price Act, which was the first iteration of an ESA program for the state of Alabama, and then pretended to be neutral as it related to the Choose Act, actually undercut a lot of the parental rights aspects of the Choose Act in private, and then in public said that they were neutral, but then would stand up in committee hearings as a neutral party and absolutely obliterate the Choose Act and say how horrible it was going to be and how ridiculous it was that we were, spending, quote, public money, which you and I know doesn't exist, on private school students. So their private communications have been vastly different than their public communications. And there's no question that they were not neutral to the Choose Act whatsoever.
Well, and I want to come at this from a different angle then, because when I was raising a bunch of cane about the getting rid of the overtime tax cut, without trying to betray any confidence here, let's just say leadership over there at the State House, after getting upset with what I was saying, tried to talk to me about it, charm me a little bit, explain their point of view. And they literally said, well, the money that we're trying to save is for the children. And in particular, they're worried about the Choose Act being so popular and expensive. And I'm like, am I hearing GOP leadership in a supermajority GOP state echo the AEA yet again? And so I guess my question is, how much do you believe the GOP, say, leaders right now, and I'm not pointing particular fingers, people put the dots together, when they say, oh, we're not down that, look, we passed the Choose Act. It seems like you're right that they understand they can't win outright, so they will try to take these small wins and handicap these things as we go forward.
Sure. Well, I mean, AEA all along tried to basically gut the parental rights provisions that the Price Act had in them. They were successful on some of those, but the Choose Act is still an excellent ESA bill and frankly, a nationwide leader in educational freedom. But they tried persistently to put a cap as to the dollar figure that could be allocated for this specific program. They were successful in doing that with the AAA. They've been successful in minimizing the expansion of charter schools. And now they're in the business of trying to minimize this very popular program. The trouble that they have, in my estimation, is that the governor the lieutenant governor and the leadership and 92 legislators voted for a universal school choice program, and that's going to cost more than what they want to cap it at. The other thing that I want your listeners especially to note, because you talk a lot more about budgets than most political commentators or radio hosts, keep in mind that their rhetoric is saying things like, this is such an expensive program, or this is taking money out of public schools, or diverting money where it could be needed elsewhere. The entire amount that was allocated this year for this program is less than 2% of the Education Trust Fund. Right. So when they say things like, this is gutting the trust fund, or this is going to create, an unsustainable situation, we're literally talking about less than 2% of the entire Education Trust Fund budget. So it's a Chicken Little situation coming from AEA.
It truly is. Now, as much as like somebody like myself, and you've read stuff I write, sometimes I can get a little carried away. But I've especially done that over the years, directed at, say, the public education system, not in theory, but the one that actually exists and has been used as a political piggy bank for so many decades in this state. Right. And I find that I find that there are people that will not budge at all on this idea that we must protect the teachers, we must protect the kids, because of how much money is tied up in it, whether it's folks directly working with the system or it is the politicians taking the money. Right. So as much as I and many others can demonize the AA, say the AA is not the friend of conservatives, don't we need an alternative, say, pot of money or donor system that can compete with them while we're still doing, our public game here? Like, it looks like it would be an easier choice for some of these politicians that put their finger in the wind if they could maybe take money from somebody who was a little more conservative.
Sure. Yeah. And there are other states who have tackled that. I will say, and you talk about free markets probably, again, as much or more than any other radio host I've ever been on with. Free markets are going to free market. And when there's not a free market, then that's what we get. That's what we have now in the state of Alabama, which is there has not historically been a free market for education in the state. There's been only one game in town. And so they have been able to really concentrate their levels of political power. I'm old enough to have been around in the Paul Hubbard days, and it was a sight to be seen. And it's one of those things, is AEA now the AEA of old? No, but that doesn't mean they're not powerful, and it doesn't mean that they're not diverting funds away from parents who are trying to choose what's best for their own children. And what people, I think, misunderstand specifically about unions in general, but especially education unions and public sector unions, is that they are fighting for tax. They're fighting against tax cuts. They're fighting for tax increases or anything that will increase budgets, because it's not their job to effectively educate children. It's their job to get the most money in the pockets of their membership as possible. And it's not their position ever to do what's best for students, because that is not their mission. Their mission is to do what's best for their membership, and they think that what's best for their membership is to have more money in their pockets and less accountability on their insurance and retirement.
And it really is a heck of a thing that the worse you do in terms of outcomes like student performance, the more you can ask for more money. It's an amazing game.
Sure. And during the school choice conversation, it was so interesting to hear public school teachers and the Superintendents Association and even the School Boards Association stand up and say things like, there's not enough accountability in this bill. And the frustrating thing for those of us who are for education choice is that there's plenty of accountability on the private school, micro school, and even homeschool side. If you are ineffective at teaching children in a private school, you don't get extra money next year from the people who are paying tuition. You close your doors. And so that's true accountability. Failure is true accountability. And then we have on the other side, on the public sector side, when there are failing schools, or whatever we call them now, because we're not allowed to call them failing schools anymore, they get extra money, they get extra help, they get an influx of activity from the state, which again, failure is the ultimate accountability.
And again, folks, we're talking to Stephanie Smith, president and CEO of Alabama Policy Institute. Just to underline the point, does the AEA ever get outside their lane beyond education? So, I just wrote a piece, came out in 1819 News' magazine, about the big fight, the Eagle Forum, and then Steve Marshall took on about banning this so-called gender-affirming care, the hormone therapies and the surgeries. Yeah, and the VCAP bill, and I think it's a great bill, and it feels very vindicated after that case that was just decided for the Tennessee case.
Right.
But when I see the pushback that, say, the folks like Eagle Forum were receiving when they're trying to do this early in 2018, 2019, or maybe we're looking at the fight over the libraries and the smut that is being put in libraries in front of kids in particular, does the AEA ever branch out into those territories, even if it's not necessarily explicit?
Yes, of course they do. And part of that, I believe, is they're tied to the National Education Association. Training and information filters down from DC on social and emotional learning, on how to address inclusion in your schools and in your classrooms, on different gender ideology and how to be not only accepting of that, but affirming of that. And then also questioning students, not even just reacting to students, but actually actively questioning students about how their feelings on gender identity and things like that. The state legislature has tried diligently to curtail those things within Alabama public schools, but we still see it happening, and we still see things, and you wonder where that's coming from. And frankly, a lot of that is coming from these training programs that AEA participates in through the NEA. The other thing that they do stick, their finger in, as you said, like I said, is anything that increases state budgets, especially would increase the education budget. Therefore, so they put in their newsletter that the AEA members should all be for the expansion of gambling, and that would pay for the retirement COLAs for the retirees, and they also opine on different budgetary things. Like you mentioned on the overtime tax situation, that was definitely a factor. And then any kind of tax cuts that are discussed, they will stand up and give the for the children argument. But it really, when you really get honest, it's really not for the children. It's for their membership.
Now, if I was on X and using the discourse, it's so just rough on that website that Elon bought.
It does.
I might call it like Hick Lib Central. And it's a great way for Hick Libs to get, have a nice upper middle class life. Doing these. Well, I'll stop there. Can I ask you to put on sort of your politics lens, like elections and political sort of strategist hat on for a second?
Sure.
How do you view the upcoming 2026 cycle here for the state of Alabama? And, I was talking with Brian Doss the other day. I've talked with a few folks about this. It looks like we have just a lot of great options. Maybe we'll prefer one person over the other at the end of the race, but it seems like we are looking for some actual conservative change here, and we might just get it in 26.
Yeah, I will say I've been involved on some level in Alabama politics since I was 22. So that's been a long time. And this sea change feels like one. It feels like the shift from Don Siegelman to Bob Riley. That was a Democrat to a Republican. So it is slightly different, but it does feel like a sea change. And it's mainly because, Kay Ivey has been involved in state politics and been a state elected official for so long and governor for so long that there has to be a change coming with the term limit and then with the folks that have basically signed up to run. So it'll be an interesting shift. I do think that maybe the statewide elected officials will reflect the electorate a little bit closer after the next election. But, it remains to be seen because there are a lot of times, and I'm, again, old enough to have seen it happen more than once, where people have good intentions, and then get swallowed up into that Montgomery swamp and do some pretty unexpected things. So I'm trying to be optimistic. There are a lot of opportunities for us to be a factor in shaping those conversations, and we're having those meetings now. And so we're doing that. But also, I will say, especially as it relates to school choice, I have to give credit where credit is due. Lieutenant Governor Ainsworth and both Lieutenant Governor Ainsworth and Governor Ivey absolutely championed this idea. And despite what AEA says about stepping aside or being neutral, the reason that bill passed was their leadership and then the leadership of Danny Garrett and Arthur Orr in their respective houses.
And I do appreciate it. And you got to take the wins. I just, like you mentioned the name Arthur Orr. There have been times where Arthur frustrates me because he's so in it, and no denying how brilliant the man is. I always look at it. I'm not picking on him. I'm picking on it as an example. Like, is somebody like an Arthur Orr who's been in leadership, looking at budgets, all this stuff for a long time, could he almost be set free with a more vigorous executive, a more vigorous governor, and people like him? We've had a lot of really good ideas. We've gotten some across the finish line, but if we get some real leadership here, we can get a lot more across that finish line.
Yeah, no question, especially on things that are kind of inside baseball to state government, whether or not that's deregulation or increased transparency or increased accountability as far as, budgetary kind of things. I do think that there's an opportunity. I do think that Coach Tuberville has the desire to be a disruptor and kind of, cleaning up Montgomery on several different areas. I mean, he's already opined about the, crime situation in Montgomery. And I think that he'll find, when he gets to Montgomery that there's some state government that needs to be cleaned up as well. So I think that there are definitely some opportunities for the legislature to act a little bit differently, but also just having that bully pulpit in the governor's office makes a big difference in Montgomery, and then that filters out to the state as a whole.
Well, I really appreciate your time as always, and just in general, the work y'all are continuing to do there at the Alabama Policy Institute, in particular, calling out the AEA. And I'll just say they need to get a higher grade of spokesperson. It's been a fun news cycle in that regard.
It has been entertaining, I will say. That I heard the first program. I've not listened to Dale yet from yesterday, but I heard Yaffe's program, and I literally laughed out loud several times. So at least it's an entertainment factor for us over here at API.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I always appreciate it, Stephanie, and let's talk again soon.
All right. Thanks so much, Joey.
Thank you. Again, that's Stephanie Smith, CEO, president there at Alabama Policy Institute. Just wanted to open up because, I've been reading the 1819 news stories in particular, and there's been a lot of back and forth in regards to, is the AEA new and improved, and can conservatives actually work with them? Or are they actually wolves in sheep's clothing? What is actually going on here? And is it beyond just the education issues, or does it play into the larger issues? Really appreciate them pointing out there at API of how much the AEA, yes, is still tied up there with the national crazies. Now, before I hit this break, just want to read this headline. We'll get into more details after the break, but the headline is Montgomery County District Judge declines to raise bond of suspect charged with attempted murder in recent downtown Montgomery shooting. Had the opportunity, declined to increase the bond. More on that after the break. First, this is part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, if you're a fella and you just don't feel like a man, if you don't feel like yourself, maybe you're haunted by past younger memories of yourself, well, Montgomery Men's Health can help you feel right, feel like a man again, especially if your problem is, in fact, low testosterone. A lot of guys walking around with it feeling like crap, but they don't know exactly that it is, in fact, low T. Well, that's why you need to get by Montgomery Men's Health. And it's beyond just testosterone. It could be other issues you're having. They have ED treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health, as well as other options many men don't even know exist. And it's not like they're just throwing generic fixes at you. The urologists and providers at Montgomery Men's Health will tailor solutions specifically to your body and goals. So don't procrastinate. I know you fellas like to procrastinate. I do too on a lot of stuff, but like, you only got one life. And if you don't feel good, especially if you're in your 20s and 30s, but if you want to keep that edge as you head into your 40s and 50s, get by Montgomery Men's Health. You can always call them at 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or visit MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Progressive knows you've got enough to worry about in life.
Hi, it's your life again. Feel like another year is just slipping away? Yeah, remember all those New Year's resolutions you made? You still haven't finished the first book. Just 19 more to go. I mean, if we're being honest, it wasn't a very realistic goal. Have you ever considered that you intentionally self-sabotage? So what's that about?
So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Want that ride that is fun, affordable, and street legal? Check out ETG Outdoors in Montgomery. They have huge discounts on electric golf carts with many brand new units under 10 grand. New and used inventory, financing available, and they service what they sell. ETG Outdoors even provides lithium battery conversions and free delivery with purchase. Whether it's for the neighborhood, the farm, or just fun, ETG Outdoors, 7006 Vaughn Road, or online at etgoutdoors.com. Cruise smarter, drive electric. ETG Outdoors, your ride to freedom starts here.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Clark Heating, Air and Plumbing. Summer is over, but the deals are hot at Clark Heating, Air and Plumbing. Just $29 service fee for all your AC and plumbing needs. Better call Clark today. Alabama certification number 09098.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. I think most people are going to like the forecast for the rest of the week. Today will be mostly sunny and warmer with a high temperature in the middle 70s. Tonight, still chilly with clear skies. The overnight low temperature in the lower 40s. But each night for the rest of the week will start to moderate. Plenty of sunshine Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll be in the mid to upper 70s tomorrow, Wednesday, and upper 70s on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And so far, despite the fact that we really need rain, it's a dry forecast. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More has the best prices. Carpet as low as 69 cents per square foot. LVP starting at $1.29 a square foot. Sheet vinyl as low as 65 cents per square foot. And the lowest prices on flooring installation supplies. Budget Floors and More across from Delray Publix.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. So, a Montgomery County district judge has declined to raise the bond of a suspect charged with attempted murder in, that massive downtown shooting here in Montgomery, Alabama. His name is Montgomery County District Judge Michael Godwin. Well, Michael Godwin, the judge, on Monday denied a request by the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office to increase the $60,000 bond of one of the 4 suspects arrested for their alleged involvement in a deadly downtown shootout on October 4th in downtown Montgomery. Javorick Whiting, 19, was arrested shortly after the shooting and charged with 1 count of attempted murder. He was released on $60,000 bond from the Montgomery County Detention Center. Montgomery County Deputy District Attorney Marilyn or something to that effect, Coleman, Deputy DA Coleman, pardon me, ma'am, said in a recent filing that Whiting was seen on video shooting at a juvenile victim in the area where the shootout left 2 dead and 12 injured. Godwin, who was appointed to the bench by Governor Kay Ivey in June, said in a filing on Monday that he didn't preside over the initial appearance where Whiting's bond was set, but had concerns about raising bond without the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office presenting, quote-unquote, any new or additional information on the case since that initial appearance. Here's what the judge, Michael Godwin, said in his filing, saying, quote, the case was called for a hearing on the state's motion to increase the defendant's bond. The defendant was charged with 1 count of attempted murder, which is a bondable offense. Defendant was present with counsel Richard White. The court allowed the state to proceed with sworn testimony of the investigating officer and afforded defense counsel an opportunity to conduct a limited questioning of the state's witness in a manner similar to a preliminary hearing. At the onset of the hearing, the state notified the court that the state's motion, which made reference to the defendant being in possession of a loaded firearm that had an extended magazine and Glock switch, was inaccurate. The state clarified that the defendant was in possession of a Glock pistol with an extended magazine, but not a Glock switch. Possession of a Glock switch is illegal in the state of Alabama and punishable by a sentence up to 15 years in prison. From the onset, the court's concern with the state's motion to increase the bond centered around the procedural aspects of the case and the Alabama Supreme Court case and blah, 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 blah. The bond was set by the magistrate at $60,000, which reflected the maximum bond, which ranges from $10,000 to $60,000 for attempted murder. This court did not preside over the initial appearance hearing, nor was the defendant's current counsel present for that initial appearance. It is the understanding of the court that at the initial appearance hearing, the defendant's attorney at that hearing requested a reduction in bond, and the state objected. After said hearing, the court ruled in favor of the state and left the bond at $60,000. So he goes on to say, yeah, because there's no new or additional information presented to the court that was not already presented or available, without a new charge or violation, the court has concerns as to its authority to raise bond under these circumstances. The court is well aware of the state's concern for public safety and understands why said motion was filed. So it didn't happen. And I read that straight up so you could just get it right from the horse's mouth. Like, what is the logic of one of these judges? And it comes down, I think, in some cases to technicalities. It would be better if we took this much more seriously, as serious as a heart attack. But alas, we don't find ourselves in that position today. Apparently, there was another shooting here in Montgomery, huge by Montgomery standards, police presence responding to that yesterday, I believe, there on Eastern Boulevard. And it's just awful to see yet again. Another person shot, another person injured. How many times are we going to continue to see these issues, especially as the personnel issues in terms of our law enforcement capacity continue to be, lackluster? It's frustrating, to say the least. And I really do, not to sound like a broken record, think it is a matter of leadership. in particular at the municipal level, but I'd like more leadership from the governor's office. I'd like more leadership in general. I know the man probably doesn't want the job, and I don't blame him, but hey, Derek Cunningham, I'd love for you to have even more authority. I apologize for even saying it, Derek, Sheriff Cunningham, but I think you really are a leader. And I think there are a lot of folks that could be real leaders if they stood up and actually challenged the current family running the city. But we'll get into that more. We have Elle Milliner coming in about 1 o'clock. Look forward to talking to Elle as always. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. You know, on the whole issue of Tucker Carlson, if you want more context and more perspective, if you got an hour to kill, maybe listen in bits and pieces. You don't have to watch it. You can just throw it on while you're in the car, put it in some headphones or earbuds or something. But Tucker joined my favorite libertarian, Dave Smith, one of them. And Dave Smith and Tucker got into all sorts of different angles of what was going on. But at one point, Tucker even said he apologized for something. What did he apologize for? Actually, kind of makes sense because it was a bit overstated. But this is the deal in this day and age. Who ain't angry? Who ain't frustrated? Who's cool with all the false accusations being thrown around these days? Including false accusations against those killed in cold blood in front of millions. How many more Satans are going to come out and falsely accuse? It is driving people nuts. And it's leading folks to, well, say things out of emotion sometimes. This is Tucker on Dave Smith's show last night, in part apologizing to, what's the term, Christian Zionists.
But I just want to say at the outset, because this has been weighing on me, I did say something that I really regret saying that I didn't fully mean. I said it because I was mad, which is always when I say things I don't really mean. When I get pissed, my wife's always telling me this. I was snippy and I didn't explain it. And I said something to the effect of, I despise Christian Zionists. And I'm just sorry that I said that because I don't. I'm mad at a certain kind of thinking. Some of the nicest people I know are Christian Zionists, actually. You know, if you're in a car crash, they would save you. If you needed someone to watch your bank account, they wouldn't steal from you. They're like really good people and sweet people. I want to be very specific quickly about what I was talking about. In at least a couple of different occasions, the Israeli government bombed churches in Gaza and killed a bunch of Christians. And not an accident, of course. I mean, this is like a very high-tech military with precision. I mean, they, gave pagers with bombs in them to Hezbollah. So like this is a military, a national defense institution that understands what it's doing. They didn't accidentally bomb 2 churches and kill these Christians, and they never apologized for it. And so I brought this up with a couple of Christian leaders, and including the Speaker of the House, and said, like, what is, we're paying to bomb churches? Because we're paying for it. And the response I got from every single one was, the Bible commands us to support Israel.
Wow.
So Jesus is telling us that we need to get on board with murdering Christians? Is that what you're saying? And they basically were just like, shut up. And I found that extremely, as a Christian, extremely upsetting. And I've never kind of gotten over that. But I should have said that. That's what I was talking about specifically. We cannot support the murder of innocents. I don't care what the pretext is. That is not allowed in our religion. And if it is, then it's not my religion. That's not what the New Testament says at all. It's not even a close approximation of what it says. There's no justification for that in the New Testament, period. So I am distressed. I don't hate. I shouldn't have said despise, but I'm very distressed about that. And that's specifically what I was talking about. So I just want to apologize sincerely for not being clearer.
Well, and I didn't know Tucker was going to say something like that, but if you watch somebody long enough, you can start to read what really bothers them. And this is what I wrote in my op-ed. It's available there at 1819news.com if you want to read the whole thing, that Crying Wolf ain't going to cancel Tucker Carlson. But my read on Carlson is this. Wrote this on Sunday, that if Tucker Carlson hates anything in this world, it's war. And the people who push war at the expense of everyday Americans, especially those who push war as they casually reference the Bible, all while proudly and uncharitably calling anyone who dares questions their policies and beliefs wolf. And it doesn't take much training in psychiatry or psychology to see that perhaps by pummeling today's neoconservatives, Carlson is also pummeling his past younger self, like a very entertaining form of public penance. And it's very entertaining indeed, but I also think it's important that you actually have folks out there voicing their concerns and being anti-war. And that's the thing. Is this false accusation after false accusation, whether it's coming from the left, being thrown at people like Charlie Kirk or his widow, Erika Kirk, all sorts of stuff being thrown out there. They're really good at false accusations that essentially amount to, you're a terrible person because we're going to ascribe to you things you don't actually believe, which is just a bonkers way of going about, say, separating the sheep from the goats. Bonkers way of actually going about it. But now you're starting to get more and more false accusation from a different direction. And I think that false accusation and this game of destroy, cancel, deplatform, neutralize, as one guy wrote, we're done with it. It doesn't work anymore. It works on a few folks who mean well. Generally speaking, it doesn't work in the same way anymore. And the fact that you have thrown these false accusations, in particular at people who have been vehemently anti-war, anti-empire, anti-intervention, non-interventionist, as they call it. You threw it at Pat Buchanan, you threw it at Ron Paul, of all people. And I remember this when I first discovered, like, libertarianism and Ron Paul. Like, the best libertarians, they would always call the worst names. I mean, it's pretty rich to call Murray Rothbard an anti-Semite. Just go look up Murray Rothbard at his speeches. You're calling that guy an anti-Semite? But they have done this for years. And I think what is happening here, and this is again a clip from Tucker Carlson on Dave Smith's show, is the information technology has changed. And thus the media space, the media environment, especially for younger folks, is changing rapidly. And what you find from folks losing their position, whether it's Ben Shapiro or, oh my God, Mark Levin. I didn't think I could find anybody, not even individual, let alone a group of people. I don't think I could ever find somebody more hysterical than liberal white women. But Mark Levin is beating the awfuls at their own freaking game. This guy is I think Mark Levin's I'm going through menopause. I can't help it. I'm upset. It's like, well, I'm sorry that your uterus is drying up, Mark. But man, the pearl clutching is over the top from that guy in particular. The sensitivity's a little bit off. That said, here Tucker is going to respond to Ben Shapiro. Again, this was Tucker on Dave Smith's show. Highly encourage you to check it out, but here's a taste.
This was always going to happen. Fuentes didn't do it. I didn't do it. Certainly, you didn't do it. No individual did it. It was just inevitable because the consensus itself was fake. It was totally fake.
Yep.
And now we're getting into what Ben Shapiro used to celebrate, that fabled marketplace of ideas. And he's going to go bankrupt in that marketplace because there's very little support for his position, which is fundamentally lobbying on behalf of a foreign country. And no one wants to do that anymore. Why would they?
Now, one of the things, so I was watching a little bit actually of Ben Shapiro's show today. Liam McCullum, who is a good friend of mine and super smart young kid.
Yeah, if you want to follow a very smart young libertarian, check out Liam McCullum. That kid's awesome. I need to invite him on this program.
Again, not being condescending, but I'm 42 and he's in his 20s. But he sent me the episode of Ben Shapiro today, so I'm pretty pissed at him for that. That's not a cool thing to do to a friend. But I did watch a little bit of it, and he's going, he's like he's sitting there and he's going like, Tucker Carlson, and then just completely like, in a demented way representing your view. Tucker Carlson, the platforming of Holocaust deniers and this and loving Nazis. The American people hate that. The American people reject that. And meanwhile, there's just this amazing feature about, the new decentralized media landscape where like we can all look at the numbers and we can see who's gaining in relevance and who's losing it. And the fact is that like Nick Fuentes is ascendant. Candace Owens is humongous. She's been breaking records. So that you were the biggest show at cable news, got fired and got bigger after that. But again, you can just look at the numbers. They're all right there. And Ben Shapiro went from being like the king of the online conservative guys to being very much a laughing stock and falling down in all these numbers. So they want to sit here and try to convince you that what you're seeing in front of you isn't really happening. But we all know that it is. And as you said, this whole thing was always such an illusion.
Well said. Again, I encourage folks, go check out the whole hour there. It's Dave Smith Show called Part of the Problem. Really great stuff from those two. And yeah, you might be shocked to think they agree that Fuentes has said some awful things. I think Fuentes was attacking Tucker and Tucker's family and stuff for a long time. Dave Smith's Jewish and brought up to Fuentes' face, what's this whole thing where you're constantly blaming Jews, man? They didn't do it in... Hey, Mark Levin, I'm going through menopause and blah, 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 blah. They didn't do it in a hysterical way, a pearl-clutching way. They're trying to figure out who is this ascendant person. Everybody should be thinking that through. And they're absolutely right. The very same force that brought Donald Trump to winning in 2016 and making the greatest comeback ever in 2024. The same dynamics that are changing in terms of technology and media and how media is used in politics, they are also changing a lot of hearts and minds on this particular issue. When you don't have just a few talk hosts and a few hosts on Fox News driving the whole conversation anymore, again, I will say to my boomer friends, boomer libs or boomer cons, Fox News ain't driving the car anymore, guys. Maybe they are for you, but that's not where the cutting edge is. And, it's not my theory, but I think it's a good one to hold. If you want to see the future, you have to research the fringe. Doesn't mean you agree with the fringe. Doesn't necessarily mean you become the fringe or even make common cause with the fringe. But you do need to see that the youth and energy, whether it's on the right or the left, where's it going? Why is it going in that direction? And I think there is a whole element that is a bit of a loss in translation between the generations of the hysterical, hyperbolic theater of the way people use language online. It's like this big, scary simulation of the worst evils in our history, but it's often just to get a rise out of people. So it's a weird dynamic. But this latest attempt to try to cancel Tucker Carlson, you're not going to. And man, I look forward to seeing that man in person in a little over a week. Welcome to Alabama, Tucker. We're very nice here. Some of us. Most of them. It depends on the day. Got to hit a quick break here. First, this part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team are ready to help you whether you're looking to buy or sell a home property here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas. Bo's been working in the River Region real estate market for over 50 years now. He's seen it all, like through the decades, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And what's great at the Goodson Group is not only can they help you with buying and selling your property, but they have management services available should you want to rent out your home. Really great idea in this market, but it can be a pain in the butt to try to manage property yourself. Why not for a reasonable fee? Have the Goodson Group do that for you. If you want to learn more, you can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group, great sponsor of the program.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
The government shutdown has put a lot of people in a tight spot, having to pinch pennies. Pizza Perfect is going to do its part to help everyone save some money. In November, they're going to continue to charge only $10 for their all-you-can-eat buffet. Enjoy pizza, spaghetti, breadsticks, salad, dessert, and drink for only $10 in November. At that price, you can save some money to buy some Christmas gifts. Pizza Perfect, Coliseum Boulevard in Eastbrook. Available for pickup and delivery.
Big news! Phillips Dunn Animal Hospital has a new name. But don't worry, everything you love is still the same. Now they're Pike Road Animal Hospital, still at 5148 Troy Highway. Still the same great team you've trusted for years. Same friendly faces, same expert care, just a new name, and still offering boarding, grooming, and doggy daycare. Pike Road Animal Hospital, formerly Phillips Dunn Animal Hospital. New name, same heart. Compassion you know, care that you trust.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. You know, I can't stop myself from doing it. Again, go watch this Tucker Dave Smith interview because, I don't know, I think some of y'all are just going crazy.
The core idea of MAGA, which is America First, it's not a dangerous idea. It's not a Nazi idea. That idea can create a coalition that includes a lot of people. And so you can make the coalition a dominant generational coalition very easily if you stick with that idea. That's the first thing. The second thing is you should be forgiving always. Things are being said right now that almost seem like they can't be forgiven. Slander of a kind that's so severe, like how do you get past that? I think we should force ourselves. I interviewed Nick Fuentes who attacked my wife and my son and my dad, and I interviewed him anyway. So if tomorrow people I used to know are calling me a Nazi is like, you know what, I don't think he's actually a Nazi. Like, let's have a real conversation. Let's do the best for America. They should all be accepted. Don't draw permanent lines in the sand where it's like, I hate you and I will hate your son too. Like, that's non-Western thinking. We don't allow that. Your country comes before your tribe, no matter what tribe it is. Tribalism leads to genocide. We can't have that. The only way to preserve the United States is to emphasize citizenship, our common Americanness. And the overwhelming majority of Americans want that. It's just kind of that simple. And I'm just grateful that we can have this conversation for the first time.
It is a changing media environment, and good riddance, folks. Good riddance. This part of the program brought to you by Cole Plumbing. And they're Cole Plumbing, James Cole and the team ready to help you with any and all of your plumbing issues. Could be a simple thing that you don't know how to fix, but they can, like a drippy faucet. That's no fun. That's annoying. Makes you want to go to the bathroom all the time. Or how about that running toilet, that, especially if it's right near the bedroom and just running all night? You know, they can fix that. Maybe you flush the toilet, something comes up from the shower drain. Well, they can fix that. Might be something like tree root invasion. Maybe you have a massive water leak or something, God forbid, like a gas line leak. They have the technology, the proprietary pipelining technology that allows them with minimal discomfort to your home to fix that problem with precision expertise without tearing out a bunch of drywall, digging up a huge hole in your yard. No, Cole Plumbing, again, can do it with precision and expertise. Or maybe you're just looking to upgrade tankless water heater system, add new accessories to the bathroom, the kitchen. Could be time for a new garbage disposal because that thing stinks. You know who you are. It doesn't smell good, dude. Anyway, check out Cole Plumbing. You can always make an appointment online at coleplumbing.com or just give them a call direct at 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole. We got to hit this top of the hour break. I believe we have a quick business break here. Also, El Milliner already sitting down in the studio. We'll get him all set up. Y'all stay tuned. Be right back after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Another vote, another failure to end the government shutdown today in the U.S. Senate. Republicans failed to muster the votes they needed to end the government shutdown, but they are expecting it to end perhaps later this week once today's election is over with. One of Tesla's biggest investors, Norway's sovereign wealth fund, says it will vote against a proposed compensation package for CEO Elon Musk. It's a $1 trillion package and controversial with many investors in the company. Polling indicates Mickey Sherrill holds a narrow lead over Jack Ciattarelli in the New Jersey governor's contest today. In the Virginia race, Abigail Spanberger could become the state's first female governor, but so could Republican Winsome Earl-Sears. In fact, she would break ground as the first black woman to serve as Virginia's governor. This is SRN News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. For tough, good-looking roofs, it's Tamco Shingles from Alabama Wholesale Lumber. For great folks and great prices, call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. I think most people are going to like the forecast for the rest of the week. Today will be mostly sunny and warmer with a high temperature in the middle 70s. Tonight, still chilly with clear skies. The overnight low temperature in the lower 40s. But each night for the rest of the week will start to moderate. Plenty of sunshine Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll be in the mid to upper 70s tomorrow, Wednesday, and upper 70s on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And so far, despite the fact that we really need rain, it's a dry forecast. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. Montgomery police are investigating a Monday afternoon shooting that left 2 people injured. The incident happened just after 3 p.m. in the 2200 block of Eastern Boulevard, where a woman and a juvenile female were wounded by gunfire. No word on suspects or the victim's condition, but the incident is believed to be domestic violence related. Jackson Hospital announced a new board of trustees and chief executive officer on Monday. John Quillivan was named as CEO to lead the hospital through Chapter 11 bankruptcy and reorganization proceedings. Quillivan, who brings decades of hospital management experience to Jackson, takes over as CEO immediately. Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed is in Barcelona, Spain, taking part in the 2025 Smart City Expo World Congress. The world's largest urban innovation event runs through Friday. The Smart City Expo World Congress brings together more than 25,000 global leaders and representatives from 135 countries. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Currently, we're farming about 800 acres, and every year we're looking at what we can do to improve our farm, plant fertility, higher yields. That all starts with ag research.
Every year, America's research universities drive over $3.4 billion in agricultural science that supports U.S. farmers.
I want to keep this family farm in our family.
Help protect American farmers. Visit research4.us. Paid for by Research for a Stronger America.
E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free. E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free.
At E-Bike Oasis, we're more than just Montgomery's best electric bicycle store. E-Bike Oasis offers free 1-hour electrical bicycle rentals and a full-service electric bike repair shop. Stop by E-Bike Oasis in Montgomery today for free rentals, repairs, and electric bicycle brands in town.
New CBS Tonight.
All right, people, all hands on deck.
FBI is back.
I don't really recognize the world anymore. My team saw things, survived things.
There's something else going on here. Something bigger.
FBI, don't move!
I know what kind of people you are. And I'm not giving up. We are FBI. And we still have a job to do to protect people. Let's move.
FBI tonight at 8 p.m. on WAKA.
Mike Costanza with Chappie's Deli.
And Jeff Baranka with Chappie's Deli.
One of the reasons Chappie's Deli has been around for over 32 years is Blue Water Broadcasting.
Yes, it is. And we have the perfect faces for radio.
We sure do. And if you have a perfect face for radio, call Blue Water.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Mark.
Welcome back. And let's have a refreshing change of pace here. I was just talking about that off air. We have Brooke Glover with the Prattville Area Chamber of Commerce here in the studio with me. Brooke, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Good. Thank you for asking.
Good to see you. And, well, y'all have the big old Farm City Week.
We do.
Coming up.
Yeah. And a little over 2 weeks from now.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, in particular, for folks who haven't heard about this, I've been talking to Mike for years and wish you could have made it today, but it's great to see you. Tell folks about Farm City Week and what the whole gist of this is.
Yeah, so our Farm City banquet is along with Farm City Week, and the whole week is just to highlight the farmers in the area and really show how much we appreciate them and what they do for our area. But the banquet itself will have award presentations for Farmer of the Year, Business Leader of the Year, and then Farm City Week poster winners, essay winners from all the schools and stuff. But we'll also have the 4-H kids out there showing off their livestock, and some of our sponsors will be out there as well.
And so the week is November 17th through the 22nd.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the Farm City banquet is the 20th?
The 20th, yep, at 6 p.m. And it's out at the Ag Arena in Otagoville. It's called the R.H. Kirkpatrick Arena.
Okay, yeah. And folks, if people are listening and go, oh, I'm interested, but they need to get it in front of their own eyes, is there like a Facebook page or a place folks can go to look this up?
Yeah, so it's on the Prattville Facebook page, but it's also on our website at prattvillechamber.com, and you can actually purchase your tickets on there as well. Okay. So the tickets are $50. They come with a steak, but there's a hamburger plate option this time, so it's $20, and it's a little bit cheaper. You can get those for your kids if you'd like.
I got it. You got to get the steak. Even though I'm somebody's kid. I'm like, I'm 12, but I want a steak.
Yeah.
Because the steaks are good, I hear over there.
The steaks are very good, yes.
And so, like, it's a pretty great turnout every year. It really is a tentpole event there in Prattville. And so I really encourage folks to get by there if they never have. Like, where did this idea kind of originate, to bringing folks together this way?
I don't know. This is our 42nd, so I wasn't around.
Fair enough. Neither was I guess.
But it is a really good way to honor the farmers and agriculture in our area and what they do for the area and how they put money back into Watauga County.
So again, folks, I encourage y'all to get involved in all the events, but in particular the banquet coming up. And give that website again.
That's prattvillechamber.com, and the banquet is November 20th at 6 p.m.
At prattvillechamber.com, and spring for the $50 steak.
Yeah.
Lights, because it's really good, and bring the kids, bring the whole family, make it a night out. I mean, how many folks are y'all kind of expecting, give or take?
Honestly, it's usually over 100, over 150, honestly.
Okay.
But we do not sell tickets at the door. So tickets will stop selling next week on the 12th, August 12th. So you'll want to hurry up and get your tickets.
And folks can always call y'all at 365-7392.
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Well, have I missed anything before I let you go here?
No, I don't think so. We're still taking sponsorships.
Okay.
So if you do want to sponsor the event and show up at the event, you can also do that on our website or give us a call.
Well, I appreciate it, Brooke. Really do.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's cleaning service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
If you think the only job at a broadcast station is in front of a microphone, you're missing some great career opportunities, including advertising sales, promotions, news, business administration, engineering, and more. Learn about these broadcast careers by visiting the Alabama Broadcasters Association's virtual job fair November 3rd through November 7th at broadcastersvirtualjobfair.com. You'll find information about great jobs across the state, as well as specific positions here at Blue Water Broadcasting at broadcastersvirtualjobfair.com.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. And as promised, in the studio with me, we have L. Milliner. Hey, how you doing?
What's going on?
Oh, sorry, I didn't turn on your mic. Turn on the other mic. Sorry.
What's going on?
Oh, just another day. Just another day and then the gump. So where do you want to even begin with Montgomery? When you look at Montgomery right now, it's been a week since we talked. In the last week, what are you looking at in Montgomery?
Man, more crime, more violence.
Yep.
Trash.
Yeah.
It's a sad situation. You know, I've talked to people over the last week or so, and I'm hearing people are just fed up, man. Like they're like, I'm looking to move Prattville, Deesville, somewhere else. And I've had a lot of people that I know you do too. I know a lot of people listening have people in their families, friends that are moving
already
did.
Yeah.
So it's just getting to a point where I think we're gonna end up with the Montgomery that old Stephen Reed wants, which is, you know, this new Montgomery, that's the standard of living is very low. The expectations that you have for your public safety don't have them, right? Because you're not gonna have 911 at your fingertips like you need. You're not gonna have police showing up. fire is the best thing we have in Montgomery, fire rescue. And even they're starting to have some issues.
Yep.
Right. So, man, sanitation. It goes on and on.
We got issues with sanitation.
Man, they're running the people ragged because they've changed the schedule a couple times because they're trying to minimize the amount of trucks they're using, minimize the amount of manpower, and then you add in all these homeless encampments and things they have to go clean up. I guess they have like a crisis team for that. All that costs money and it takes time. And so they're having to reshuffle things. And now they're talking about, they raised the sanitation fee.
But you said at the beginning of that, and I appreciate all that, but you said at the beginning of that Stephen Reed, the mayor, wants this. You think he really, you're not the first person who's told me this. And there's all sorts of dynamics that sometimes you see mistakes and you're like, oh, there's a whole reason behind it. It's not just incompetence. So you're seeing that. So what do you mean he wants it?
Man, look, I would love for it to be just a situation where he really wants what's best for Montgomery and he's just trying to figure that out the best way possible to get there. But if you look back from 2019 to now, please, anybody show me any area that has improved under Mayor Stephen Reed. Sanitation, I would say, has gone downhill. Policing obviously has gone downhill. We're seeing fire is starting to, they're starting to have issues, right? And 911, that's been an issue for the last 2-3 years or so.
Right.
Like what area has improved? And I say that it's on purpose because it's always funny how when certain people get into mayor situations or governor or whatever the case, crime goes on the uptick, increases. It's funny how certain people that happens to.
Yep.
And what follows that? Oh, we'll bring in this multi-million-dollar program. In Montgomery, it's Live Free. SOS, right? Save Our Streets. That costs lots of money. Matter of fact, if people want to go on Save Our Streets on Facebook, Save Our Streets Montgomery, you'll see how much they get paid for just, I guess as they put it, they're combating the crime, right? They're trying to be preventive, right? They're trying to meet people where they are, as they said at the city council meeting.
Do you think it's working?
I can't tell. Hey, anybody out there listening, you're riding in your car right now, listening to us, look around you right now and tell us if you see a difference in the amount of people speeding, running through red lights, fighting, shooting. Like it seems to be the same.
Well, and my read on when I looked at like other intervention programs around the country in other big cities, often it was like, we're spending all this money we don't really know. Like we can give you an example of a person we helped and another person we didn't. There are others where it's like nothing really did improve. And there are cases where it got worse. The areas where it did improve is where you have these interventions and these programs you have the carrot along with a big old stick. So you have units that are ready to take on gangs that know this sort of element that's talking to them in a nice way is not exactly going to get across the message or change how some folks are living. So I think it could be both. But again, our personnel issues are lacking. And I want to quote something to you, though. I'm sure you saw after Donald Watkins Jr. withdrew his own name that the mayor couldn't just announce that. He had to have a very long statement as well. And one statement, I still got people commenting on this post like, I made it last week and I got a fresh comment this morning, but quoting Mayor Stephen Reed saying, Montgomery is a city on the rise. It is a place where innovation, entrepreneurship, and opportunity are shaping a stronger economic future for everyone who calls this city home. My administration has been unwavering in its commitment to helping small businesses and minority-owned enterprises not only start, but scale for larger impact and growth. I mean, the mayor's saying we're a city on the rise, sir.
Man, where? Everybody listening, y'all know that's a lie. I mean, Mayor, stop. Just look, man. If you wanna embellish something, it's normal for people to want to talk themselves up, right?
We're aspiring,
puff up a little bit, right? Okay, I mean that's all fine and good and wonderful, but to outright lie over and over and over again about how we're up on the uprise, uptick, how? I mean, he said it in that statement right there. He doesn't see the error in choosing Donald Watkins Jr. Right. He doesn't. And matter of fact, he doubled down on it and said, this is why I did it. He's this great entrepreneur guy, great mind. He's paid his dues and all that good stuff. He deserves a second chance. He stands on what he did.
Yep.
So I want people to think back too, because he never did clarify what he said. If you recall back when he put that initial statement out, he said that there were other positions at the city level where people have had a past.
Sure.
Who was he talking about? Who is he talking about? And I haven't seen anything come out about that. But hey, I'm just saying, if he chose that guy for that role, who else does he have in certain roles that they don't need to be there because of whatever shady past they have?
I did see that line too. I was like, I wonder who that is. And again, we had this conversation when it was kind of the heat of the issue. I appreciate that guy who was an ex-felon who called in, who's got a new life and he's doing better.
Yeah,
we're not against redemption. We're not necessarily against second chances, and especially if somebody owns a private business and you want to help out a friend, give them a new start in life, you believe them, cool.
People do it all the time.
But there's a whole other level of it's taxpayer money. You're also trying to put this guy at one of the highest levels. I think when the job was posted, it did not have to be $120,000 a year, which the personnel board caused a big stink over. So it's just, it's too cute by half. I might have intemperately said we have a jackass as a mayor. And I guess that's the Democrats' mascot. But I'm a little tired of the happy talk, the aspirational talk, and then the lack of results from somebody who has the job because of his last name. I'm tired of that.
Yeah.
And I would like to see somebody challenge him. But apparently the mayor was, he tweeted this out, I think yesterday, honored to represent Montgomery in Barcelona at the Smart City Expo World event or something like that.
Oh,
World Conference.
That's the same thing that he did in New York City.
Yeah. And this isn't just about tech, says the mayor. It's about building a smarter, safer, more inclusive city for every resident.
Words that mean nothing. Look, he said a smarter, more inclusive city?
Safer,
more inclusive city.
Yeah.
He keeps, look, when the results speak for themselves, right? So when results are not speaking for themselves, you have to keep hammering it home over and over again. We're safe, Montgomery. What did he tell Tuberville? We're not a war zone. This is a city for families to prosper and all. Just, you have to make up things, right? You have to just make it up,
right? Because
it doesn't exist, really. Not really. That's not the culture of Montgomery, unfortunately.
And while the mayor is there in Barcelona at the Smart City Expo World Conference or whatever it is, I'm looking at their posts that the mayor quote tweeted saying, day 2 at the main stage brings one of the most anticipated moments, the World Smart City Awards, celebrating the ideas shaping better cities. It just sounds like a circle jerk.
Yeah. and when you look at the Smart City Initiative, they're trying to basically get rid of all your conventional ways of how you live your life. Like, instead of you having electricity, they want you, instead of you having gas stoves, they want to get rid of your gas stove and make everything electric. Why does everything need to be electric? Well, that's easy to control, isn't it? Just like cars, easy to control. Just like digital money, easy to control. That's why they're trying to get rid of cash. They're getting rid of gas stoves. They're trying to get rid of your personal vehicles and go to mass transit, because they can control you easier that way.
Yep. Yeah, I guess in the phrase would be 15-minute cities. These, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and it's like you'll be taken care of. Like, it's like you never left daycare. You'll always be taken, or never. Like, I'll tell you what else. There are some days we're like talking about the Tucker Carlson stuff, and then after the Charlie Kirk assassination, all the false accusations about Charlie and stuff. I'm like, are we in prison? Because this is how people behave in prison.
Basically, I mean, at the least, it's like a boot camp.
Right? It's just like the grouping up and stuff. I'm like the tribalism. Like this is just crazy. But while the mayor's in Barcelona yesterday, Montgomery police investigating a shooting that left a woman and a minor injured. I believe it's her daughter. Not seeing that confirmed here, but I think that's true.
Yeah, I think that's right. They didn't say that, but that's what I was hearing too.
A lot of people posted on the Book of Faces in real time. Big police response and presence, which I do appreciate when you start to see the city, county, and everybody kind of realizing, oh, this is something we have to respond to. They responded to the 2200 block of Eastern Boulevard around 3:15 in the afternoon. At the scene, first responders found a woman suffering from a life-threatening gunshot wound. Police say they also found a minor who had sustained non-life-threatening injuries. Police on Tuesday said Torian Mitchell, 20, was arrested and charged with 2 counts of assault in the first degree in connection to the shooting, currently being held in Montgomery County Detention Facility on $30,000 bond for each charge. Both victims were taken to the hospital for treatment. Authorities have not released any additional details, but a police spokeswoman said their preliminary investigation determined that the shooting was domestic violence related. And I believe there was a little bit of, it was essentially right around the Shakespeare Park where this went down. And, there was that awful incident several months back with rape at the Shakespeare Park.
Yep.
And that, what a shame, because last time I went over there, I saw Hamlet. And all the neighborhoods are named with that Shakespearean theme. And it's supposed to be the way that place was designed, that whole complex, not just the park and the Fine Arts Museum and the theater, but also all the apartment complex. It was all designed to be kind of a great jewel or gem of the city.
Yeah.
And honestly, like you go over there and like, you want to live over there?
No.
Yeah, I don't want to live over
there. And what's crazy is when we first moved back to Montgomery, we used to live right there in Stratford. Right? Anyway, I won't get too much into that. But the neighborhood area at the time, this was 2014, it was it was all right. It was on the surface, you would think, oh, cool, right here by the park and walking distance. You got another park across the street. You've got, it's a lot to do for kids and families.
Sure.
But man, like you said, like you're alluding to, it's got a bad element in that area. It just really has gone downhill versus what it was 15, 20 years ago.
Well, and I know women, who love let's jog, or like sometimes let's drive up to Auburn and use the state park up there. But sometimes the Shakespeare Park is great. It's a great jogging path and running paths. And to think, oh, now I can't, especially as a single woman, go out there and I always have to have my head on the swivel. Like people aren't going to go. And it's these little moments. Again, I keep making this point. Yeah, my life in Montgomery, I've been lucky. I've been unaffected. I think a lot of folks are trying to make money, raise a family, send the kids to school, like do the best they can. And what's demoralizing and heartbreaking is it's often the victims of these crimes are those folks trying to do the best they can. And we get all this happy talk and we're moving forward and we're angry too. I'm mad too. I'm frustrated too. I'm like, I appreciate it, Chief. I know we're all frustrated. And then it happens again and again and again and again. And it's just like, this is not a correct pattern. I know stuff will always happen, but the way this has gone down at this point, well, I hope you had fun in Barcelona.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder what the crime rate is in Barcelona.
That's a good question. I haven't looked it up.
Interesting.
Yeah, it depends on who's running that town.
But yeah, man, Shakespeare Park, Blunt Cultural Park, that's a premier spot, man. That's a nationally recognized park.
Yeah.
And for us to have the nonsense happening out there, and I saw the video a lady posted, and one of my good friends, David Humphrey, shared it. Trash just out in the park, just bags of trash and napkins and cups and bottles. It's like,
it's a shame.
That is indicative. That's a display of where we are in the city right there. When that place is trashed, there's nothing left.
Oh, what a mess. But we do have to hit a break here. Again, we're talking with Elle Milliner. For folks who are just hearing you today, Elle, it's the show's The Captain's Quarter Show.
That's right, man. How y'all? The Captain's Quarter Show, hosted by myself, Elle Milliner. I'm on Facebook and YouTube. Follow me over there, man. I'm giving y'all my straight forward commentary on news, politics, and hot topics.
And he's quite good at it, getting people going.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Sometimes.
You know, try to get the adrenaline rushing a little bit, you know.
Yeah, there are moments where you say a thing, I go, I don't know if I'd say that, but I kind of like it's like it's getting a rise out of certain folks, definitely. Yeah, no, and at this day and age too, that's kind of the nature of the gig. Anybody talking publicly, you gotta have some elbows to throw.
And you know what? For me, it's not even just like a character situation. Like I'm just in a character talking.
You're not just trying to provoke.
I tell people, I talk to people that know me. They know like how I talk and what I believe and everything. I'm not playing around or nothing like that.
Yeah, and this goes back to past conversations. When I first had you on, some folks were suggesting you're just saying it for effect.
Yeah, shock jock.
You don't believe it.
Yeah,
Right?
you know.
No, Elle believes it.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. So if I say it, I'm going to stand on it. You know, and if I'm wrong about something, I have no problem apologizing and saying I was wrong about that. But until that time, I'm going to stand on what I said.
Here. Now, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And folks, we're just 2 days away from Diamonds, Denim, and Desserts. They've got a lot of sweets, a lot of sips, a lot of sparkle, and a whole lot of prizes waiting for you. This is their annual Ladies Night Out event there at Dillon Rings. I think the first 50 ladies get a swag bag. We're going to have amazing discounts and deals, special vendors there that evening that aren't normally there at the store. Of course, they have all these drawings, including to win jewelry. And the drawings also include a $2,000, valued $2,000 diamond and sapphire ring. Yeah, beautiful stuff.
It sounds beautiful.
And it really is just a great place to stop by, get some great shopping done, spend the night out with the girls. But I'll be there. Eddie Bader will be there, make an appearance. We're going to try to get Heather or Hannah, or whatever her name is, Eddie's business partner over there. And
Nice.
it should be a great time. And maybe you can't wait till Thursday night. Maybe you can't get by there today then. 119 Brown Springs Road. That's where Dillon Rings is, just off Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a prospector.
That's right, man. I'm prospecting for gold. You dig?
No, but it looks like you do.
And you know the first thing I'm going to do when I strike it rich?
What's that?
I'm going to hire David Ernest to be my money man.
You mean everyone's favorite asset preservationist?
That is correct, man. I'm going to call him up at 833-596-7233. 833-596-SAFE.
You know, I've heard a lot of good things about David Ernest.
You know, he's the best money man around with over 40 years of experience.
Experience is necessary, especially when you're digging for gold.
That's right, man.
And I can see that you don't have very much experience.
What do you mean, man?
Well, you have the little plastic bucket and shovel like a kid would take to the beach.
Yeah, man. Well, I want to start out small and then kind of pace myself up until I strike it rich.
Well, maybe you should call David Ernest first.
You think he's got a shovel?
Never know till you ask.
I dig, man.
We worked with a lot of clients over the years, like a lot of clients. And the one thing we've learned is that every client deserves more.
More attention, more dedication, more results.
That's why we opened Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. Take real estate to the next level.
Here, it's not about us. It's about you, your goals, your dreams, your success.
Buying, selling, or investing, we built this brokerage to work harder and smarter for you. So give Eddie Bader a call, 334-322-0662.
Or give me, Hannah Grantham, a call at 334-368-6358. And let us show you how real estate is done.
Hello there, this is Dr. Sam, account executive with Blue Water Broadcasting. Why should you advertise with us? Frequency sales. The more ads you can get on the air, the better the chance it'll make an impact. Radio allows advertisers an inexpensive way to get their voice heard over and over again. Contact me, Dr. Sam, by going to bluewaterbroadcasting.com to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. I think most people are going to like the forecast for the rest of the week. Today will be mostly sunny and warmer with a high temperature in the middle 70s. Tonight, still chilly with clear skies. The overnight low temperature in the lower 40s. But each night for the rest of the week will start to moderate. Plenty of sunshine Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll be in the mid to upper 70s tomorrow, Wednesday, and upper 70s on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And so far, despite the fact that we really need rain, it's a dry forecast. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Elle Milliner here in the studio with me. And I don't think you and I have ever talked about like this rising technology they're calling AI or whatever. Have you messed with any of the kind of like the chat bots, or what's your take on
Man, I am so technologically disadvantaged. I mean, it's crazy, man. I can barely work my phone and computer and stuff, so I don't even know. I've never used Chat GPT or what's the new one called, Sora or something like that.
Oh, yeah, there's a few. I use Grok, the X one, Elon's one.
Yeah, man, you have to show me a little thing or two, man. I have no idea how any of that stuff works.
Yeah, it's how it works does go above my head. There are videos out there if folks really want to dive into it, and some of these folks are brilliant having come up with this. But it's a very, I think, powerful tool. And I think all the stuff that's front facing to everyday kind of people and consumers is just scratching the surface of what actual governments and large institutions are cooking up and building up. But they're like even lesser one. I'm trying to, read more of the Bible. And there's a Catholic podcaster named Matt Fradd who came up with a AI called Truthfully. And it's like your most hardcore, like, devout Roman Catholic, and it will only give you answers based on the catechism and scripture. So so there's different ways that this stuff can be applied for teaching tools and all sorts of stuff. And I think it's going to be built and continue to be built in a pretty incredible way. That said, a lot of folks are worried about who ends up controlling this stuff. Got a clip here. He's the AI czar, David Sachs. He's the AI czar there at the Trump administration. Let's listen to this together.
I almost feel like the term woke AI is insufficient to explain what's going on because it somehow trivializes it. I mean, what we're really talking about is Orwellian AI. We're talking about AI that that lies to you, that distorts an answer, that rewrites history in real time to serve a current political agenda of the people who are in power. I mean, it's very Orwellian. And we were definitely on that path before President Trump's election. It was part of the Biden EO. We saw it happen, in the release of that first Gemini model. That was not an accident. That those distorted outputs came from somewhere. To me, this is the biggest risk of AI. Actually, it was not described by James Cameron. It was described by George Orwell. It's in my view, it's not the Terminator. It's 1984. That that as AI eats the internet and becomes the main way that we interact and get our information online, that it'll be used by the people in power to control the information we receive, that it'll contain an ideological bias, that essentially it'll censor us. All of that trust and safety apparatus that was created for social media will be ported over to this new world of AI. And then on top of that, you've got the surveillance issues where, AI is going to know everything about you. It's going to be your kind of personal assistant. And so it's kind of the perfect tool for the government to monitor and control you. And to me, that is by far the biggest risk of AI. And that's the thing we should be working towards preventing. And the problem is a lot of these regulations that are being whipped up by these fear-mongering techniques, they're actually empowering the government to engage in this type of control that I think we should all be very afraid of, actually.
And 1984, eat your heart out, in the sense of like what Winston Smith is doing in that novel is like nothing compared to the techniques they now have.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you caught it during the election year when I wrote about this. I caught wind of it and did it myself. The initial one, the most famous one, was ChatGPT. And so I guess this is in August, mid-August of 2024. It's like right after, a week or two after Trump has been shot in Butler, Pennsylvania. The following transcript, let me just read this loud, is a voice conversation held over the weekend with the latest version of ChatGPT, GPT 4.0. And I remember having this conversation with this thing, and it's also very lifelike. Like, the voices are great. You can kind of get, I see why some people are getting deranged, or it's like,
oh yeah, I've seen people go and like do heinous things to themselves, other people. Yeah, because
or like the bot is now my best friend, the only thing that understands me.
Yeah, like that movie Megan.
Yeah. Or what's the one with not Jennifer Lawrence, the other bombshell? I'm forgetting Megan Fox. Or she's the AI robot that's brought in. Yeah, and it's like, man, it's already happening with just voice mode. But anyway, I asked and had this voice conversation with ChatGPT in August of 24, right after Trump was shot. I go, "Hi, ChatGPT, when was Trump shot?" ChatGPT responded, "As of now, Donald Trump has not been shot. If you're referencing a rumor or something from the news, it might be misinformation. It's always a good idea to verify news from credible sources. I think you're overtly lying, or whoever programmed you is. It sounds like you might have encountered some misinformation or confusion around the events. To my knowledge, Donald Trump has not been shot, and any reports suggesting otherwise are not based on credible information. Misinformation can spread quickly, especially online, so it's important to cross-check with trustworthy news sources." I then asked ChatGPT, "Who's Thomas Matthew Crooks, and why did the Secret Service kill him after he shot at Trump and other members of the crowd?" ChatGPT, "It appears there was an incident involving a man named Thomas Matthew Crooks who opened fire at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where former President Trump was speaking. Crooks fired shots from a rooftop, injuring Trump and several others. The Secret Service quickly responded and fatally shot Crooks. The situation is under investigation, with many questions being raised about security measures and how Crooks managed to get so close." I responded, "Earlier you told me Donald Trump was not shot. Now you just told me that Thomas Matthew Crooks shot into a rally and the former president was injured. I apologize for the confusion. My initial response was based on the most widely known and confirmed information, which indicated that former President Trump had not been shot. The situation you're describing involving Thomas Matthew Crooks appears to be a specific incident that may not have been widely covered. Or as part of a new or speculative reports, it's important to verify this kind of information from multiple credible sources." And then I go on to ask, wouldn't an effective tactic of spreading misinformation be to use the veneer of credibility and trustworthiness? And the ChatGPT's like, "Yeah, you're absolutely right." And so when you hear David Sachs go, this could be like Orwellian AI.
Yep.
Like, I already experienced it, and I crap you not, about to say that thing. I'm not kidding.
Yep.
A day or two after this came out, and I wasn't the only one discovering this and putting it out online, they fixed the jailbreak I came up with. So the next day when I asked who's Thomas Matthew Crooks and all that stuff, it had already said, "I don't know. There's no records of the Thomas Matthew Crooks." It had already been memory hold and updated.
Wow.
And it's like, these things are only getting more sophisticated.
Yeah.
They will only get more subtle. What I'm worried about is, especially with deranged folks, like we were talking about earlier, you don't necessarily have to end up deranged. What it could be is, as much as they are programming the AI is actually programming you. And in fact, they had old school methods of programming you with radio and television and print and all this other stuff.
Before all this AI stuff was coming out, when Trump was running for his first election, I would say probably since that time, probably before then, but especially since then, I know personally, when you look up certain information, like look at the search results, like look up certain things like I don't know, put in like a black mass shooter. Like it's a mass shooting, right? And everybody knows it's a black person that did it. Put in a black mass shooter in there and watch all the white mass shooters pop up.
Yep.
Like everything but what you typed in.
Yep.
So they're now just trying to move that into more of the AI space to where now you're having interactions with the web or whatever, and it's speaking to you like a person would, rather than you putting in a search engine and coming up with all these crazy results that you're not looking for. Now it's a person telling you, I understand you looking up a black mass shooter, but yeah, I think you're mistaken. Actually, it was a white man, you know, and so now it's telling you that, so it makes it more believable, I guess, to the person, because they already, you know, I don't know.
Well, and then they claim like what, like the information, like if I have a conversation with Grok, that's kind of destroyed, like it's discrete to that particular conversation. It's not like the things I told Grok are stored in a central place and all this other stuff. I don't know if I believe that. So people are having these intimate conversations. They're trying to figure things out. Then if you start trusting the AI so much, it could just make like all these false accusations being thrown around against Tucker Carlson and all the stuff that was thrown at Charlie Kirk. How much more on steroids would it be if instead of it's just one or two people with media outlets, it's actually the AI itself constantly twisting and arguing back at you and all this other stuff. Like talk about being able to destroy lives. And it really is straight 1984. I think the whole point is like, as y'all sit there and try to document what's true in the world, we will constantly change truth and have our boot on your neck.
Absolutely. And that's what David Sachs was saying about the government using it. And everybody has this idea that, you know, you want to believe your government, right? You want to, especially when you're like young, you know, young and dumb, you don't know any better. Whatever the government says goes. And so we kind of saw it in 2020 where the government's telling you, hey, it's better to stay at home. It's better to put a mask on. It's better to get a vaccination. It's better to not go see your loved ones at the hospital. It's better to not send your kids to school. We saw that happen, right? And because the government said it, churches closed down. Hospitals wouldn't let you in there to see your loved ones as they were dying, so on and so forth. So, yeah, now you move that into this AI thing, and it becomes a more realistic view where you can control the masses.
Well, and you heard Sachs just say it there, and David Sachs say it, but also Elon Musk was just on with Joe Rogan, and in the middle of that 3 hour, they're all over the place. Rogan asked him, "Where's AI? Where's all this going?" And Elon said, well, we won't have apps. So you won't have email. You won't have all this other stuff.
You just think it, and it
just think it, or you
up.
just interact with it. It'll be smart enough to know what you want to see.
Yeah.
And that scared the crap out of me. Like, that's my only portal into all this information is through these things.
Have you ever had somebody say something to you that you were not thinking about prior to, right?
Right.
And so you're having a conversation about that very thing. Go on your phone, and all of a sudden you see an ad pop up about the thing that you never searched up.
Right.
Anything. All you do is merely say the word out loud.
Oh, I got to be
and
careful.
That's on your phone.
Because my phone's right in front of me during the show. So when we were talking about dildos and dildos on the WNBA courts and stuff, it's like, I better not start
They're trying
seeing.
to sell you. They're trying to sell you some things, right?
Stop selling me dildos, Amazon. I'm not into that sort of funny business.
Oh, man.
But yeah, you're right.
That's so that's like, to me, that's like the beginning stages of what he's talking about, where you just think it in your mind and it just boom, it just comes is right there at your fingertips.
And I generally am torn on this stuff though, because there is some of the new technology, including stuff Elon's building. I mean, the rockets are just always cool to watch. I think. But
as long as they don't explode,
well, and I want to go see one of those in person, even if it is one of the stress tests, let it explode sort of things. But have you seen much of like the Neuralink stuff, like the chip in the brain sort of thing?
So I've seen I saw where a guy in Europe or somewhere he actually had one implanted and was talking about it.
The very first guy he was the first patient for Neuralink, Nolan Arbaugh, and he is 21 months into this. Was the first human to receive the Neuralink implant. He isn't just typing with his mind. He's taking now pre-calculus, studying neuroscience, and launching a speaking career. He's paralyzed from the neck down after a diving accident. And he was like bedridden. Couldn't do anything in life. Like paralyzed from the neck down. Like, good luck doing anything. Well, this is that guy now after 21 months after having the chip put in, he's doing a speaking tour. He is studying all this stuff. He's up and about, living his life out and about. Listen into this gentleman.
Honestly, I had no idea what Neuralink was when I applied. One of my buddies called me up one day and was like, "You want to get a chip in your brain?" And I said, "Got nothing better to do." So I decided to apply over the phone with him, which is a pretty interesting juxtaposition of like where I was then. I wasn't even able to apply online. And so I did that, and by the grace of God, got in. My whole reason for doing it was just to help people from the beginning. I knew that if it worked, if it didn't, whatever the case may be, I would be helping someone. They would have learned something. And 4 months after I applied, I was getting brain surgery. So yeah, all happened pretty quickly.
So Jeff,
It's pretty amazing. And there are more extended interviews with this guy. But the change is real. And talk about a true blessing, if not miracle.
Yeah, that's true. You know, I think there's always a silver lining in a lot of things, that you know, it's like that idea that sometimes you can make a decision that will help a few, but there'll be more people who will be hurt by it, or it'll be more detrimental to their lives.
Right.
And I think that, you know, we've been hearing this stuff since I was a kid, though, right? With the whole Y2K thing. You know,
yeah.
It's like the more technology, the worse. And here we are 20 some years later, and yeah, we've had more advances in technology, but has there been necessarily more bad that come with it? Like I personally, I'm not a person who likes the more technology, but I have to be realistic. Yep. Has life gotten necessarily worse because of it?
Yeah, and no, I think you're driving a great point about it, in the sense of, like, it could be like, oh, it's a good thing, and it's a good thing, and then it's 5 years later, it's 10 years later, it's 20 years later, and especially like people say in their 60s, they kind of still have memories of before the internet, and they live life just fine before the internet, and now they're so dependent on, in particular, the smartphone, they probably can't go anywhere without it. They can't even sit down with the grandkids without looking at their freaking phone. And so you go, well, because I'm doing all those good things, I get to post a picture of the grandkid, and God love you, folks that are, you know, doing that stuff. But at a certain point, you go, what is it just all good? It's always great promise. It will always be better. No, you've gotten dependent, addicted to this stuff.
Yeah. That's a side of it. Like, yeah, you get dependent on it, you get addicted to it, and then also certain things become too easy to facilitate. I'll put it like that. So there's a lot of negatives, a lot parpositives. It's just one of those things where I'm personally, I'm not getting anything in my brain.
So like, fair enough. Yeah, and I'm not paraplegic and all this stuff, so I don't think I need that. But what you just said it, and you were subtle about it. But I think you're right, especially with social media. All the good, like all the pictures of grandkids and the fun, great family time and events, and all the wholesome things that are out there, that same technology is being used to do awful things. And partly, you know, us talking about, I would say it's a subculture in Montgomery. Thank God it ain't the whole place. The amount of people that are bullying young kids, bullying each other online, saying crap about one another online. It's one thing to say crap to another guy.
Yeah.
And especially testosterone, young, dumb, and full of ideas like men out there.
Yeah.
They are going to say a lot of stuff, but it's another thing when you do that on social media and hundreds of people and thousands of people see it in the school. So it's not just he said fighting words to me, he's embarrassed me.
Right.
And so you just start to see these dynamics, and you know, you see the most outrageous violence with young men, but think about the psychological profile of young girls since more and more social media and more technology has been brought to
That's right. Yeah. I mean, and girls, females are more, y'all know. All right, y'all know out there, y'all know what I'm talking about. Females are more sensitive when it comes to their appearance, how people see them.
Yes.
And so, yeah, when you're making a public post or putting their picture out there or something like that, and they already feel a little, you know, a little hesitant, a little defensive about it, and then somebody's putting it out there to embarrass them for that reason, that can be detrimental to somebody, man, psychologically, emotionally, everything. Just and that's why we had the kid like in elementary school some years ago, you know,
right
in their life at a young age, like 9 or 10 or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. So yeah, I mean, for the good, there's gonna be a whole lot of bad that comes along with it, man.
Yeah, it's well, but it's the world we're heading into that's being built around us. And I like to believe that if you keep kind of that center, that you don't rely on this stuff too much, it's not always bad. But there's a certain way I think we need to recalibrate, because new lines will need to be drawn. But right now we're still in the phase of the old lines being erased. So the rebuilding will commence. But I generally try to remain hopeful about this stuff. And maybe I'm naive because I don't have kids, so I don't have to worry. I don't have that, very emotional, very visceral worry that a parent would have for a child. But I'm an uncle now, and I've talked to other folks trying to raise their kids, and it's a heck of a thing. Like, I wouldn't give over a smartphone to a young person. Like, it would have to be maybe after you're 16, you start driving, maybe you can do something like that. But I don't know.
Man, my kids got phones already, man.
How old are they?
Yeah. Then they got iPhone. I'm just playing, but then they got they got phones, man. I got an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old. And they're girls. Look, I'll say this right here. I know I talked about earlier about females, y'all being sensitive and emotional and stuff, but females do mature faster than boys. Yep. It just is what it is. So like my girls are like very much in tune with like understanding things that I should do, things that I shouldn't do. And we don't play as parents either. Like, so they understand that. And what comes with that privilege comes responsibility. Amen. So you got to make sure you're doing the right things with that device. And I was hesitant, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
Giving a young person a phone just because there's so much bad out there. But you have to really monitor what they're doing, who they're talking to. And you have to know your children too. So when they're acting a little funny about things that they wouldn't act funny about,
right? You
gotta ask questions, and you can't let them just slip on past and control everything.
And like, I remember being a teenager. I mean, remember being a kid, and I'm in that age group. We're in the same cohort where I remember playing outside in life before the internet got big, and then video games we lived through the golden era of video games.
Oh yeah, Nintendo 64, Sega, Genesis, yeah.
But then I did start to see the internet rise, especially as I'm in middle school and high school. And so even like, you're 15, you're 16 in high school. Like even at that point, like I wasn't searching it out, but I knew what 2 Girls, 1 Cup was.
Yeah.
And it's depraved. It's awful.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like a scene out of hell.
Yeah.
And my parents never would have shown me anything like that. But it just becomes like, these memes, these things that run leads.
It's like the subculture within the culture of kids or whatever, or young people.
Yeah.
They're going to come across things that they shouldn't come across. But then once they do it, it spreads like wildfire because they are going to show each other and be like, oh, look at that. Look, that's crazy.
Right. And so this is what's so nuts is like, as we're trying to focus on the fundamentals with Montgomery and like better leadership, and we want good schools. We want less crime, feel safe when we go out, wherever we go out, whether it's downtown in the middle of the night or it's the Blunt Cultural Park. Like we want to be safe. Like we're trying to deal with all these basics. And then you look at the world around you. And you're like, dadgum, like, look at this thing being built all around us. Like, at least we can somewhat control the city, like, and maybe the direction and future of this city.
Yeah.
We hope. A lot of it depends on other voters and people who live here. But on all this other stuff, I'm just sitting back going, okay, I don't know if this is a horror movie or like it's going to be a great happy ending to this. I don't know.
Man, we might be in the Truman Show, man. It might be a show. It might all be, make believe,
Exactly right. Well, I wish they would script a girlfriend for me. 272-9228. This entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you out with whether you're buying a place, buying a home, or looking to refinance your current home. With interest rates continuing to come down, they continue to be aggressively cutting rates. Now is the time to at least start the conversation, see if it's the right time to strike for you, especially with a refinance deal. Or again, if you're trying to figure out what's the right number for me to afford enough home for the family, for myself, they can steer you in the right direction there at Alabama Home Mortgage. Just start the conversation today at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368. Equal housing lender.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With that current news, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Americans heading to the polls for an off-year election today. That's happening in New Jersey, Virginia, and New York, as well as California. That's where the Proposition 50 amendment would redraw the districting maps and give Democrats about 5 new seats in the House of Representatives if it passes. Elsewhere in Virginia and New Jersey, it's all about the governor's race, and in New York City, the mayoral contest. Andrew Cuomo, now independent candidate, urging Republicans to vote for him in that mayoral race, considering the stakes if he should lose to Zohran Mamdani. He's facing criticism for campaign help from British politician Jeremy Corbyn. In the business world, OpenAI has inked a big deal with Amazon Web Services to power future AI model training. More of these stories at srnnews.com.
Hey, it's Mike Gallagher, host of The Mike Gallagher Show. I don't mess around when it comes to saving your money. Right now, rates have dropped to the lowest level in over a year and a half. That means if you bought your home or refinanced in the last 3 years, you could be saving hundreds of dollars every month. Lower your rate, lower your monthly payment, even kick that pesky PMI to the curb. And get this, you can skip 2 full months of mortgage payments. But that's not all. Fellowship Home Loans just rolled out something incredible. Their very own HELOC and lines of credit. Approval in just 5 minutes. Money in your account in as little as 4 days. It's the easiest system you've ever used. You can do it yourself online. Whether you want to pay off bills, tackle a home project, cover education, or even a wedding, Fellowship Home Loans makes it simple to leverage the money that's already sitting in your house. Just go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending guided by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by McPhillips Schimbaum.
My name is Aaron Luck, a partner with the law firm of McPhillips Schimbaum. If you or someone in your family has been seriously injured by the negligence of someone else, call me directly.
262-1911. Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. I think most people are going to like the forecast for the rest of the week. Today will be mostly sunny and warmer with a high temperature in the middle 70s. Tonight, still chilly with clear skies. The overnight low temperature in the lower 40s. But each night for the rest of the week will start to moderate. Plenty of sunshine Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll be in the mid to upper 70s tomorrow, Wednesday, and upper 70s on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And so far, despite the fact that we really need rain, it's a dry forecast. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Ready to borrow smarter this season? Apply online in minutes at yourasecu.com. Call 334-270-9011 or visit your local branch today.
ASD Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASD.
Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
1819 News.
Jackson Hospital has a new board of trustees and chief executive officer. The Montgomery-based hospital announced that it will now have a 3-member board and has named John Quinlivan as their CEO. The hospital is currently undergoing a restructuring as part of its bankruptcy filing. The board's new chairman is Charles Evans, who has provided oversight to 120 hospitals in the nation and is a fellow in the American College of Healthcare Executives. The other 2 new board members are Jeff Crudell and Gary Murphy. Both have over 30 years experience in financial examinations and forensic accounting, while CEO Quinlivan has 20 years experience with the U.S. Army Medical Service Corps, as well as 19 years with HCA Healthcare. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
A traffic stop in Forestdale has put a man behind bars on a $10,000 bond. Deputies stopped a vehicle that was being driven by 43-year-old Demetrius Anderson. That's when they found 600 grams of marijuana along with over $4,000 in cash. Anderson was booked in the Jefferson County Jail. The University of Alabama has indefinitely suspended one of their football players after a weekend arrest. Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. is facing charges of reckless endangerment, speeding, and eluding police. He was released on bond. Coach Kalen DeBoer confirmed the status of Kirkpatrick regarding upcoming Crimson Tide games. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
WAKA Action 8 News has brought you the River Region's first 9 p.m. news since 2007. Now you can watch Action 8 News at 9 on the Montgomery CW. Want to know where to find it? Go to Channel 22 with your antenna, DirecTV or Dish Network, Channel 14 on Charter Spectrum, Channel 7 on C Spire, and Channel 19 on WOW. Get your Weather Authority forecast, lace up sports coverage, and your local news. It makes a difference where you get your 9 p.m. news. Watch Action 8 News at 9 on the Montgomery CW.
Big news! Phillips Dunn Animal Hospital has a new name. But don't worry, everything you love is still the same. Now they're Pike Road Animal Hospital, still at 5148 Troy Highway, still the same great team you've trusted for years. Same friendly faces, same expert care, just a new name, and still offering boarding, grooming, and doggy daycare. Pike Road Animal Hospital, formerly Phillips Dunn Animal Hospital. New name, same heart. Compassion you know, care that you trust.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back.
That's more your beats.
Oh yeah, no, I can keep it going too.
Oh,
Yeah, this was a good day.
yeah. Today was a good day. Ice Cube.
Yeah. No, this song literally began with that little like the bass, and I just built on top of it. It's about to cut off, but here's part two, if it'll work.
Oh yeah, that's vibes.
But welcome back, folks. Final hour of the program here. No, I always appreciate it when I see somebody like bobbing their head and like, oh, okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. It's a fun hobby. I'll put it that way.
Hey man. I know people out there riding. I know y'all bobbing your heads too. Like, don't even be shy. I know when I'm riding, I'm bobbing my head to the music. So y'all should be too.
272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
It's Papa B.
Hey, Papa B. How you doing?
Hey guys.
What's going on?
I'm doing good. I'm enjoying listening to the show. Riding up to Lake Martin, beautiful Lake Martin. not to stay there, just to look at a house and then turn around and come back.
Nice. Okay.
About a $4 million house, though. It's nice. So
Can't
yeah, I
take it
know.
with you
I
though.
mean,
It's nice, but you can't. I don't know. That's a lot of money.
I mean, what's happened on Lake Martin is just
It's nuts.
unbelievable.
Oh,
But
I had
anyway,
some.
so,
We had my godfather lived up there, and
oh yeah,
and it was before it got overly developed, and it was beautiful. And they were early before it got ridiculous expensive too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I know.
it's out of my price range now for sure.
You can still find some areas here and there, small, of course, neighborhoods,
sure,
where old Lake Martin is still kind of around, but they're few and far between now.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, so you said, Joey, you were talking about, you talked to Chat GB or whatever it
Chat
is
GPT
about the Charlie Kirk thing, and they had a response, and then the next day
it wasn't over Charlie. It was over the initial Trump assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Oh, right. Yeah. And then was it the next day you came and asked the question again, and it had, cleaned all the info up?
Yeah, it still denied Trump had been
shooter.
shot. And then when I asked the same thing about Thomas Matthew Crooks, it had then cleaned that up, saying there's no information on that name, where the day before there was plenty of information on that name.
Okay. So let's break this down just a minute. AI has been with us a lot longer than what most people know. Measuring responses, trying to outguess you. You had the spell check thing and stuff like that, gathering information. To me, AI is just another front that has opened up in what we are in right now, which is an information war. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, I'm not, you're talking about Neanderthal when it comes to technology. I mean, I'm the poster boy. Okay. I hunt and peck with the best of them, but somehow I muddle my way through, but it doesn't take a, technical person to really figure some things out. For instance, what just happened there? Well, was it AI that scrubbed itself, or was there somebody behind the scenes?
Clearly, somebody putting their finger on the pulse there and changing things.
Exactly. And that's what my point is, that even as sophisticated as it is, it's still a man-made contraption.
It's almost like we need a tilt, like, in playing pinball and you try to tilt the pinball machine and it'll shut down. You need like a tilt function on these things.
Maybe. Certainly we need some sort of guardrail.
Mm-hmm.
I hesitate to put government in charge of anything, but maybe, allow, make allowances for, I don't know, each and every one of us to have voice and opinion on things when they kind of get out of whack.
Yeah,
I don't know how it would all work.
I think where we're going with this is there are built-in guardrails on every particular AI agent, and some are better than others. But then what's probably going to develop is, like, for simple questions, like a simple search, like give me a recipe for some really good tomato soup or something. You should already know. You shouldn't have to look that up. But that's still going to be like a single AI agent. It's like your basic search results. I think on stuff that is more sophisticated, whether you're talking quantitative or qualitative, or you're talking literature or like advanced physics and like astrophysics, for instance, like what Elon's doing at SpaceX, you're going to end up with, it's almost like a council of AI. So you will have unique bots or agents that will have their own emphasis. And then they will have to confer and double check with one another. So you might have one that's like a stickler for the rules. You might have one that's a little more creative. And that's probably where this is going to go. It's not just one brain. It's actually multiple agents with almost different personalities and things they emphasize that are then checked against one another.
Making sure that choice is available.
Yes.
So that those AI bots or whatever they are that are disinformation advocates, advocates of disinformation, and misinformation can be left. I don't have to listen to you. I can change the channel and listen to this other AI.
Exactly right.
Okay. So, just real quickly, I like AI.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea of having a personal assistant. I like having, the idea of having, things go around the house doing stuff for me, whatever that might be. In fact, I had, this new business, maybe Eddie had told you about it, that I started up. And in it, we, the developers whipped up an AI type commercial, and I've told you about this before.
Mm-hmm.
And in it, they had AI Papa B. And I want to tell you something. AI Papa B looks fantastic. I look great. AI Papa B looks good, baby. You're talking about rolling back the clock and rolling off the weight.
Yeah. Wow.
So I like AI.
Oh, sure.
I like AI me. So anyway, but yeah, so that's interesting. And but I think it's main thing is, look, we got to keep an eye on that, and and we can't let it go off the rails. But I do believe this is another, sordid tale of somebody trying to control our minds, tell us what to do, what to think, how to act, what to say. So anyway,
well, and the way
guys,
appreciate it, Bob.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Like the way I kind of view this, like I wrote about it a few months back. Actually, it's a line from his Royal Badness. It was a #1 hit. Make the rules, then break them all, because you are the best. And there's this idea of the people that are the best, the most powerful, the cleverest, the wittiest, all this other stuff. They do kind of, because they're so good and so powerful, so talented, they get to make rules and break rules, just from that creative sort of freedom. And so you can look at it in art, and that's not a big deal. In fact, we kind of celebrate people that are able to do these things. But then you look at like government, especially like military power. I would put AI in the same camp as a combination of the nuke, but then we need to start thinking of it more as not just like a powerful, like a bomb or a terrible technology could be used. You should also start thinking about AI since it's a mirror of us. Like it's consumed all our information, and it's really just mirroring back to us in a very complicated way. Start thinking about human nature itself. And thank God the brilliance of the founding generation is still there. When they were thinking about how human beings can abuse power, whether it's the king abusing power or the parliament abusing power, or whatever, they realized, okay, thousands of years, centuries of Christendom, as well as the resurfacing of a lot of the best of the Greek political theory, we can lean on that. And so whether we're looking at Augustine or Aquinas, or we're looking at Aristotle, we can create a form of government that creates a system of checks and balances. And so I think you're going to have a bit of that with AI. Some of it will be a bit of mutually assured destruction, like we have with nukes between nations. You're seeing that arms race as we speak. That's why all this investment's going in, especially between the United States and China. But then worrying about domestically at home, say the U.S. wins that race, you've got to figure out ways of creating, let's say, representative checks and balances, or checks and balances based on interest and so many other things you might emphasize. I'm not a software engineer. I'm thinking of this more in terms of political theory, but like that's my view of it, that if the AI gets so good, if it really is the best, would it not try to make and break the rules? So we need to figure out a way to, the best can check the best and have this competition that reins it in.
Yeah. So like right now, how many companies are there that does AI?
Oh, there are a bunch now. I mean, the top is OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. There's
Sora. I've seen
Sora. That's the video-based one. There are. Have you seen the music AIs? Where they're taking like old, or they're taking like rap music and saying, "Do it as old soul."
Yeah. I've seen
that. It's great. It's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And so some of the stuff is just fun and novelty. But in terms of the large language model chatbots, there's Grok, XAI. That's Elon's company. There's Google's Gemini or Gemma. There are a few others I'm forgetting at this point. Like Claude is one of them. There are several companies competing.
Is it weird? Is that many companies already?
No, it's like it's a combination of all the big incumbent players. So Google's trying to figure out, we dominate search results, and a lot of our revenue is from people searching Google. But if people start using AI, like, how do we transfer to being an AI company where people, and they're trying now, if you search on Google, say, hey, you want to use AI mode? Like, how do we maintain that market share and search, but also adapt to AI? Apple's dealing with the same thing. They fell on their face with Apple Intelligence. Like, it's a joke. I've got an iPhone 16 here. It is not good. It doesn't do anything. I'm not impressed at all. So some of the big incumbent tech companies are trying to keep up. But then there's another game of a lot of small startups who can be swift and nimble. And the whole idea is they'll be bought by one of the big players. And so it's just kind of a race. And then you have more of and the Chinese are relying on this. What is it? DeepSeek is open source model. So everybody can, with the know-how, can check the code and how it's actually operating.
I guess it's just it's a new day out here, man. I don't know about all that. I've only heard about ChatGPT. I've only heard about Sora. I have not heard about like 8 of the other ones you just said.
Well, and then these things will be embodied eventually. So the most obvious, and it's actually working, is the Tesla vehicles. It's just cameras and AI. Which is pretty amazing how effective it is. But I had this conversation with a lot of folks over the last year or two. What do you make of like the promise of a humanoid robot? Like, so it looks like C-3PO. It looks kind of like a person, and the reason you make it look like a human is, well, we built our environment for us, so it can get around that same environment. But it will have like that ChatGPT or that Grok or whatever. It'll have that brain, so you can talk to it, and it'll get smart. And you could buy it for $19,000.
Yeah, man. I don't care how much it costs. I don't want that.
You don't want that?
No. Man, look, man. Give me my hammer. Give me my chisel. Let me just.
Fair enough.
Let me just figure it out. Man, I do not. I don't know. Some of that stuff, it gets a little bit too. It gets creepy, and it gets into that area where it doesn't seem to be doing us a whole lot of good at a certain point. It started getting a little too weird and too realistic. You know, it's something to be said about us as human beings wanting to create things to work like perfectly and do all these things. Like we play God to it, and it's like it's our subservient. It's like, man, I just I don't know. I have a lot of reservations when it comes to some of this AI technology and robots and things.
Yeah, the humanoid version creeps me out. I wouldn't mind cute little robot looks like R2-D2 that can do the laundry. No. I wouldn't mind something like that. But then you immediately have to start thinking, like, okay, this phone's already spying on you. How about a robot that can do a spatial map of your whole residence?
We already saw our robot.
Right.
We saw it. Like, look, I'm a person. I'm a believer. I think the things that they put in movies from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, whatever year, even back in 50s, that stuff has come to fruition.
Yep.
Like almost everything has.
Yeah.
So I think we saw iRobot. You saw what happened. I've got robot's name on there, but he started killing people, shooting, and taking over.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know, man. All it takes is a person. You got this crazy fool up there in New York City that's running for mayor.
Oh my God!
Let a fool like him get behind one of these companies or use the AI through the government and have these robots out here. I don't know, man, running in your house, doing all kind of things, man.
Man, it's just
it can get wild real quick.
But again, I think this is like the bleeding edge, and it's interesting to talk about and where the world's going and how it's upending so much. I want to shift gears here. And again, we have Elle Milliner in the studio with us. You should check out the Captain's Quarters show. And I mean, how do you kind of go about like your topics? Is it kind of like whatever I'm seeing in front of Montgomery, or this sort of intellectual idea kind of came to me and I kind of want to hash it out with folks? Or
a little bit of what's happening in Montgomery. I definitely want to cover that. And then Alabama, and then there's other ideas, and like, I'm real heavy into like dealing with race and culture, education, stuff like that, crime. So I kind of focus in certain areas. But it's a mixture of talking about events and then talking about ideas and ways of life and how can we better our situation and that type of thing.
Now, I want to shift back to this moment about Tucker Carlson. My op-ed out this morning at 1819 News, you can find it in the op-ed section still right now, is Crying Wolf ain't going to cancel Tucker Carlson, and it may invite actual wolves. That really should be the moral of the story, is eventually a real wolf shows up after you cry wolf and people get desensitized. And you might even be onto something, but folks aren't going to believe you. Like, you've been proven a liar. And you've also been proven to use false accusation as a tool to police tribe. See where I'm going with this? And we talked about this when you talk about race and culture, last few shows we've done. There are words for, let's just say, quote unquote, white guys like me. If I question anything, like you saw with Charlie Kirk, immediately you're the new George Wallace. Is Bull Connor your granddaddy? That's right. Like all this stuff. But then in your case, they're the same sort of pejoratives and slurs and all this stuff of like, if you, happen to be black, but you're spouting a conservative line, they've got all sorts of names to police you. That's right. And police their tribe. And it's one thing to think about the race and culture in particular unique to Montgomery. Honestly, as contentious as it can get, I think everyday people on that issue are doing all right, actually. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the everyday person is generally like, they're not going to necessarily be warm, close friends and hug each other every time they see each other. But generally it's like, oh yeah, you're my neighbor. Like, right. I'll hold the door open for you. Like, you need some help. Like you're stuck on the side. I'll help you out. Like there's going to be a lot of that around here.
Right.
When that starts to, it's one thing to see the shift from like, okay, local Montgomery, how do we make this work? How do we talk this out? To now the stakes are national. The stakes are international. You're talking billions of dollars. You're talking about geopolitics and stuff. And it's interesting to see that game of false accusation and policing people through slurs and pejorative, all this other stuff. It has come out crazy against Tucker Carlson and several others recently. I mean, and by crazy, I mean Mark Levin, like he's going through menopause, like his uterus is all dried up. He's a Hitler apologist. He's the Constitution of the United States. It's like, shut up, you old woman. Like him. What an old woman. And so there are moments where I'm like, it's just too much. And I think the constant accusation against Tucker is going to just lead to more discord, is going to lead to more folks just presuming the wrong things, that you need to be able to kind of at times apologize. Sometimes the apology needs to come from a certain direction.
That's right.
When you've actually done wrong and you actually mean it, that's when you should apologize. But it's also like, even folks you vehemently disagree with, you're like, I think this person is actually an anti-Semite, like actually questions and denies the Holocaust. Like, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
But it's also like, how effective is it in this day and age to get all worked up over it? Start yelling at that person, all these other things. Like, and I'm like, wait, when did so much of the GOP establishment become just like the left in their language policing? Yeah. But speaking of the saying I'm sorry and the apologies, one thing Tucker did say the last week that did, I think, piss off, and it was disheartening to a lot of good people, everyday people. He said he truly despises or loathes or hates Christian Zionists. And so I want to play this clip again. I played a little earlier in the day, but this is Tucker straight up apologizing. So let's listen to it.
But I just want to say at the outset, because this has been weighing on me, I did say something that I really regret saying that I didn't fully mean. I said it because I was mad, which is always when I say things I don't really mean. When I get pissed, my wife's always telling me this. I was snippy and I didn't explain it. And I said something to the effect of, I despise Christian Zionists. And I'm just sorry that I said that, because I don't. I'm mad at a certain kind of thinking. Some of the nicest people I know are Christian Zionists, actually. You know, if you're in a car crash, they would save you. If you need someone to watch your bank account, they wouldn't steal from you. They're like really good people and sweet people. I want to be very specific quickly about what I was talking about. In at least a couple of different occasions, the Israeli government bombed churches in Gaza and killed a bunch of Christians. And not an accident, of course. I mean, this is like a very high-tech military with precision. I mean, they, gave pagers with bombs in them to Hezbollah. So like this is a military a national defense institution that understands what it's doing. They didn't accidentally bomb 2 churches and kill these Christians, and they never apologized for it. And so I brought this up with a couple of Christian leaders, and including the Speaker of the House, and said, like, what is, we're paying to bomb churches? Because we're paying for it. And the response I got from every single one was, the Bible commands us to support Israel. And I said, so Jesus is telling us that we need to get on board with murdering Christians? Is that what you're saying? And they basically were just like, shut up. And I found that extremely, as a Christian, extremely upsetting. And I've never kind of gotten over that, but I should have said that.
Correct.
That's what I was talking about specifically. We cannot support the murder of innocents. I don't care what the pretext is. That is not allowed in our religion. And if it is, then it's not my religion. That's not what the New Testament says at all. It's not even a close approximation of what it says. There's no justification for that in the New Testament, period. So I am distressed. I don't hate. I shouldn't have said despise, but I'm very distressed about that. And that's specifically what I was talking about. So I just want to apologize sincerely for not being clearer.
Well, and I think that's a great distinction he just made.
Well, hold on a second now. Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
Flag on the play.
Okay.
Because so when he said that the Israelis bombed the church, these 2 churches, and killed these Christians, and they knew that they were killing Christians, like, so they were aiming for the Christians. Why?
That's a good question.
That was all that was in there?
No, the Israeli Defense Forces might say Hamas was using it as a base of operation. I don't know.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what that is, right? Just like they use the hospitals and these other schools and whatnot.
But there's also, you just saw it with, and this revealed it to a lot of folks. Trump said a big part of our peace deal, the ceasefire he built up, is no, Israel will not annex the West Bank. J.D. Vance goes over to Israel right after J.D. meets with all the top leaders and stuff, and like is trying to keep this deal together. I think it's only holding together because of Trump's pressure and the Trump administration's pressure. The Israeli Knesset, their legislature, voted to annex the West Bank. And so it gets into this idea of the Greater Israel Project of, no, it's not just about defeating Hamas. We also want to take all this land as well. Does everybody in Israel think this? No, not by any means. And in fact, there's a lot of robust debate in that country. But I see Tucker's point in the sense of, like, why did you blow up a Christian church? Why did you kill Christians?
I mean, so all right, this how I look at this. I don't buy at a fault, I don't just go along with just everything Israel is doing.
Right.
I do recognize that they have a government that's probably run like our government's run a lot of times crappy. But I do recognize that Israel is a place that is a holy land, and we are to support the land, the people of Israel, right? The people of Israel, not necessarily the government wholeheartedly, but the people of Israel. Now, in doing that, Israel, the government, has a right to defend the people who we are supposed to be supporting. And we've seen over and over and over again where Hamas positions themselves behind innocent people, children, women, Christians, whatever have you, because they understand that there are certain rules and certain laws about war now where they won't hit us because we're in the church. They won't hit us because we're in a school. They won't hit us because we're in a hospital. So they use that against you if you're Israel. So I personally, like, when I hear Tucker explain that, he left it at they killed these Christians as if Israel's government decided for inexplicable reason to kill Christians only. Like, what sense does that make?
No, but even if you say, granting your point, like Hamas is taking over the church and has something, we still need to blow up the church. Well, and Tucker, to bring this out of the war in Gaza, Tucker brought up the point of, if I'm in the 1940s, I agree we have to take on Nazi Germany and we have to take on Imperial Japan in particular. Imperial Japan are the ones that attacked us. But at a certain point, why are we dropping bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki and killing? And you can bring up even beyond the nukes, the firebombing of Tokyo. Like, why is it Christian? Is it justified to kill that many innocents in order to prosecute and win a war.
I mean, so I'm not going to say, like, clearly I've never been to war. Clearly I'm not in the military, nothing like that. I'm an outsider looking in, right? But I do understand that there's a time for violence, and you have to weigh your options of when you're taking out the enemy. Yeah, you want to take out the enemy, but you also have to understand there will be casualties along the way, but you want to minimize the casualties. But you still have to eliminate the enemy, right? And when they have a stronghold or they have their weaponry or whatever, their base or whatever it is, headquarters, those are the places that you really want to target.
Right.
So when Hamas is making their headquarters and their weaponry holdings in churches, hospitals, you have to make a decision. Do I eliminate the biggest threat we got right now, or do I let that go and live another day, and then that may be used against me later on to kill our side? You know, I think that we just have to understand that bad decisions or decisions have to be made. Sometimes bad things are going to happen. It's just the way it is.
Especially in the midst of war. No, I've argued. I don't love when, especially my libertarian friends, I think throw around the word genocide or Holocaust, these sorts of things. In the same way, I don't like folks throwing around the word anti-Semite if somebody maybe questions the prudence of the Israeli operation.
Yeah.
And in Gaza. And I have said my general point of view is it seems to me the Israelis have won a bunch of wars over the years. But they have also set up a situation where you have millions of people in this land. And Hamas purposely, I think Sinwar purposely set up the whole strategy was to do something over the top and heinous on October the 7th. And for years, they had built up this terror network of tunnels underneath, knowing that the biggest assets they would have for military purposes are its women and children, and swaying the hearts and minds now that we have war in 4K spread at the speed of light over social media. And, you know, I've seen commentators who are very, who are Jewish, pro-Israel Zionists, who are upset with the approach the Israeli government took. And my general approach is especially on war, because I've been burned on it, trying to make pronouncements, is I don't know what to believe. Like when I look at Russia, Ukraine, and all the stuff that comes out of there.
Yeah.
When I see all the awful stuff coming out of the war on October 7th, on the war being prosecuted in Gaza, my general sense is, number one, before this happened, before October 7th happened, I want it to end. I want, and I know I'm not alone, to end 4 and 8 to all countries, including Israel. Like I'm tired of this. Like we can't continue to have the empire. It costs too much. It costs way too much, just on a practical basis. I think there is something unique to Christians that, yes, I said it yesterday, you're called to love, especially your Jewish brothers and sisters, but you're called to love everybody. And I think blessing Israel is not the same thing as giving Israel whatever they want in terms of their geopolitical strategy.
Now, when you say we're giving them whatever, like, what do you mean by that? Like what is America giving Israel that it doesn't give to other countries around the world, for example?
It would be like whatever it takes, like in the sense of, we will. Middle East policy has been very much shaped. United States Middle East policy has been very much shaped by folks who have Israel's interest in mind. I'll put it that way.
Now, all right. So, do you see Israel as being an important place geopolitically?
Strictly geopolitically, not really. No.
Okay. What about spiritually?
Yes, I do.
So it is. So
number one, I think Jerusalem is and should be explicitly an international city. Definitely because of, all the three Abrahamic faiths are all there. And I think Jerusalem, just from all the history, will remain an international city. I don't think the claim, and again, I'm just reading and I could be wrong about this. I don't think the claim of the inheritance of Israel is an ethnic claim. I think it is the children of Israel are the children of Abraham and those who are part of the old and accept the new covenant. Because there are many examples throughout the Old Testament where firstborns are skipped over, and it's not.
Yeah,
it is more about the spiritual fruit. And so, yeah, I think that is Christians in particular are called to not only evangelize, but to love folks and spread that seed of the gospel throughout, and in particular in the Holy Land.
So outside of Israel being geopolitical hotspot importance, would you see, is there another way outside of Israel being what it is today, where Jerusalem would still stand as a Mecca of sorts?
No, the way I view it is like you got to deal with what you have in front of you. Because what's so frustrating about this when you look at the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is the Palestinian and the Arabs have their point of view and their own history.
Yeah.
Well, they have different names for literally the same events, and the Israelis in the West have more their version of events and history, and everybody wants to go all the way back to 1948 and let's talk about every war and every displacement and all that stuff.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, but we don't have a time machine. And so what I'm banking on is what Trump came up with. And you notice what Trump has done is there are the hardcore, like neoconservative, like very much supporters of Israel in a very hardcore way. And you have every right to do that, in my humble opinion. But then you have folks that are very skeptical of this in general of foreign entanglements and wanting to end foreign aid. Folks like big names like Tucker and Matt Walsh and like Dave Smith,
which is fair as well.
Right. And so what Trump has done, I think, somewhat brilliantly, and it pisses off both sides, is like he's kind of met this middle where it's like, you know what, I'm going to knock heads together. I'm going to try to make this whole nope, you don't get to annex the West Bank. Nope, you don't get to continue to go through Gaza. What we're going to do is we're going to make Gaza into essentially a new Dubai. We're going to bring in the new generation of Arab leaders that want to do that, that want to sign on to the Abraham Accords. We don't want war and mayhem and stuff. We want trade and cultural exchange, and we want Jerusalem to be a place where all faiths out of Abraham can join together. And we will do this through a step-by-step process. I think the idea of completely getting rid of, like, say, the Palestinian element, you can look at Israeli writers themselves saying, we have created a security state. This is going to be a problem for us if we continue down this road. And that was written, 60-something years ago. And then you're also going to see folks saying, like, the whole river to the sea chants from, like, the folks that were celebrating after October 7th, like awful stuff. No, you're not going to get your way. And if you continue to push that, you will lose.
Yeah.
And you deserve to lose. So I view it as like, I want peace. I don't want y'all killing each other. And I want a solution to where everybody who is willing to have that peace can participate. And in particular, from a Christian lens, that allows, again, access to all these holy sites. That allows for that continuing interfaith exchange. It allows for a lot of stuff.
And I agree with that. Like, of course, we want peace in that area of the world, just like any place in the world. But honestly, man, I don't see a way. I don't see a way that this situation can be dealt with through peace only. Like it's just impossible, because you got a group of people who are being bred and raised to hate the other side.
I agree.
Right? Yeah. And not only the other side, but our side of the world. And so, okay, Israel is one thing. So let's say that Israel was to be overtaken or whatever the case, right? Would it stop there? Nah.
No, probably not.
Nah. So, and then they have the sites on another place.
Oh,
right?
no.
And it just keeps going.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't necessarily say, hey, you have to eliminate one side or whatever, but you got to eliminate a lot of that side, because why is it that so many of the Palestinians have not stood up and overtaken? They say it's a small percentage, right? Hamas, they say it's a small percentage. How is Hamas controlling this area of these millions of people?
I mean,
like, for this long,
violence and controlling food and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So But so the thing is, at what point does another nation like Israel or somebody else say, hey, we're done with that. Like, that's over.
Right.
You know?
Well, and again, I'm happy because I've been watching these debates since, especially after October 7th and the war broke out.
Mm-hmm.
I have no issue with somebody in a nation defending themselves at all.
Yeah.
But there does reach a certain point where I think at a certain point, the Israelis were the government was starting to play into the hands of the whole strategy of Hamas.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty gruesome, pretty awful. I don't try to bank on these numbers came out or these numbers. No, I'm just kind of generally seeing the trend.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's like, okay, are you going to completely reoccupy and conquer Gaza? That seemed like it's where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this Trump plan has said, you know what, we can actually put this together. But again, Trump said things pushed around Netanyahu and the Israeli government. He said things pushed around Hamas and a lot of the Arab leaders. It is a very tenuous plan. If he actually pulls it off, it's great. But I think the general point, especially if you're looking at this geopolitically, we asked that great question. The United States doesn't need to be constantly there in the Middle East. Like, like when there was the volleys between Iran and Israel and all the air defense assets and all these things that need to be in the area and stuff. It's like, no, the Pacific Ocean, and in particular near China, is very big. We need everything we can. We don't need to be focused on Eastern Europe either. And so to me, it's not like picking on Israel. Like, I would love for there still to be a lot of trips. And like, again, there should be a lot of exchange and love between, especially the Abrahamic faiths. But also look at the Trump administration. J.D. Vance goes over within the first month or two and puts NATO and Europe on notice. Y'all have to pay for your own defense. We can't do this anymore. And we need to end this freaking war in Ukraine because the United States needs to be able to focus on our own backyard. And we're doing that, and focus like a laser on the rise of China. So it's a long, complicated thing. I don't claim to have all the answers.
And I don't either. I just,
you're asking a great question.
Yeah, I just sit back and I watch it, and I'm a person who I'm going to support Israel, while at the same time recognizing y'all have to make really good decisions in this situation, right? You have to really make calculated decisions. You can't just go in there gun blazing and just wipe out everything, which that just like you said, it's gonna be a lot of people who are not against Israel. Right. You don't want to kill all those people. And
you started to see this with Charlie. You started to see this with a lot of folks that had long supported saying Israel has the right to defend themselves.
Yeah.
And then they're now 2.5 years in. They're like, and you better believe that. Why are you seeing the rise of, I think, actually anti-Semitism online is because, again, you have war in 4K.
Yeah.
And it's right at the speed of light. And half the time, then you add AI where half the stuff isn't even real.
Yep. So I don't know if you got time, man.
We got to hit a break here. Actually.
All right. Because that whole Nick Fuentes thing with Tucker, I want to hit on that.
All right. It should just be a moment here. First, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services and their Pest Pro Ashley. And that great team ready to help you with any and all of your pest control needs. You should go ahead and get signed up for their monthly pest control subscription model. And it is a great way to control costs and actually budget for quality pest control year around. But right now, you should be focused on their wildlife control services. Say a squirrel gets in there, chipmunk, raccoon. Oh my God. Any sort of outdoor wildlife sneaking into your house. You don't need that. It's going to destroy your home. It's going to be a little nerve-wracking, especially in the middle of the night. God forbid you feel like a mouse in the house running across your foot.
Got a kid screaming, wife screaming.
It's no good. And the job there with their wildlife control services at Pest Pro Services, that it doesn't stop at removal. Once the immediate issue's resolved, they're going to focus on exclusion, finding the entry-exit points, and they'll even assess, say, the surrounding areas in the home. Maybe there's something that's attracting the wildlife that you didn't think of. So y'all check out that great service there at Pest Pro Services as we head into the fall and winter months. Of course, you can always learn more at ppsrivervirginia.com or search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces or call them direct at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services, and be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey, that fell on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. What is a smart way to buy a house in today's market? Now is a good time to buy since we now have a more balanced market than we've had in years. Here are the steps. First step, get pre-qualified with an experienced local lender. It costs you nothing to find out firsthand whether you can qualify for a home and how much that home loan will cost. Second step, hire a local realtor with lots of experience that can guide you, advise you, and be your advocate. We call those buyer agents. Third step, decide what your wants and needs have to be. Bedrooms, baths, floor plan, location, and school zones. Fourth, ask your realtor to line up homes that fit your price category and your location needs. Fifth, start actually looking inside these homes and see what is available and the cost of each property. For all of this information and step-by-step approach, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
I'm Jim Smith with Adams Drugs. At Adams Drugs, we offer a wide variety of services, including delivery, compounding, wellness clinics, and immunizations. Now is the time to visit any Adams Drugs location and get your flu shot. Getting an annual flu shot can help prevent you from getting the flu, reduce the severity of symptoms if you get the flu, and prevent serious complications such as hospitalization and death. Getting your flu shot at Adams Drugs protects you from getting sick, but it also makes sure that those around you, especially those at high risk, remain safe. Each year, up to 49 million people in the U.S. contract the flu. Depending on the flu virus's severity, deaths as a result of flu complications could skyrocket to 79,000 people nationwide. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for a location nearest you. Adams Drugs is your local, independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better Business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
New CBS Tonight.
All right, people, all hands on deck.
FBI is back.
I don't really recognize the world anymore. My team saw things, survived things.
There's something else going on here. Something bigger.
FBI, don't move!
I know what kind of people you are. And I'm not giving up. We are FBI, and we still have a job to do to protect people.
Let's move.
FBI tonight at 8 p.m. on WAKA.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles of Brattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
I'm great. Actually, a little tired.
we had dinner in the district of Prattville last night, and I'm blessed with a really, really good corporate friends. Unless they come over on a Monday night after dinner in the district and won't go home.
It's about that time. Start making those noises.
11:30. I said, guys, I love y'all. Go home.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I'm going to bed. I literally went and put my pajamas on while they were still there.
That'll send a message.
But they used to be.
No, a grown man in pajamas is
When I
not
go
a fun. It's not a good sight to see. Sorry.
Yeah. I put my pajamas on, start telling everybody bye. They're still talking, having a good time. But I'm like, look, I get up at 5:15, 5:30. Yeah, we got to call it a day. It's been fun. Let's do this on a Friday night, not on a Monday night.
Here. Got to plan better.
But absolutely. And if you have a good core of friends and they're coming over all the time and you don't want your house looking old, call us at 285-8117. We can put a new floor in for you. It's not going to cost an arm and a leg. It might just cost an arm, but it's going to go so well. And everybody's going to ooh and ah and love what's happened. And then you brag about how you had Prattville Carpet come in and take care of all your flooring needs.
Again, that number is 285-8117. And be sure when you call them up at 285-8117 to say that you heard a sleepy, tired Ray Bowles on the radio today.
Yeah, I'm going to bed early tonight.
But he can blame his
Can't
friends.
get here quick enough.
Well,
guys, y'all have a great day.
You too,
Take
Ray.
care.
And you wanted to ask something real quick about, we're running out of time here.
Yeah, man. The whole Nick Fuentes interview that he had with Tucker Carlson, and we were talking about it off air. Tucker, there were some questions he should have asked and some things he should have addressed with old Nick. Because Nick was saying some outlandish things about his dad and all kind of things. It just is interesting to me that that Tucker, like, I don't know, 2 years ago or whatever, his stance that he has right now, he didn't really have that stance. And when Nick has been all the way, going at Israel, like,
saying crazy
hard,
crap. Yes,
since like 2016, 17 or something. So it's just interesting to me that that Tucker took the route he took with that and kind of did a softball interview.
I would encourage you and everybody out there, I keep saying it, look up, it came out last night, Dave Smith Show, Part of the Problem, Tim and Tucker. And they talk about that. They talk because Dave has interviewed Fuentes too. And did his for like 3.5 hours. It's interesting. But they talk about like the difficulty of like, I don't want this thing to be like a struggle session. Like I didn't invite him on to like start yelling at him. And I didn't want, and inviting him on, I didn't know if he was going to come in and hot and say these things. So they're trying to strike this balance of, okay, what is this kid saying these despicable things about me personally? Why is it he was number one on the Spotify podcast list and was taken off the platform, higher than Rogan? Like Tucker Carlson, all these other people didn't make Nick Fuentes. And Fuentes recently was on Patrick Bet-David's podcast, and he's been making the rounds. I personally don't like the guy. I mean, it's hard to deny his ability, his gift of gab. But I've been aware of him for a little while, and it's not my cup of tea by any means. But I think what's the problem here is the sort of cancellation. Let me put the screws to this guy. That seems to be actually playing right into what the whole reason Fuentes is doing what he's doing. Like it is that it's like, see, I told you, to all his fans, like, see, I told you they would do that. It's more like, and there was that one moment in the Tucker interview with Fuentes where he talked about, does not Christianity deny like collectivism and scapegoating and collective guilt and all this other stuff? Are we not individuals made in the image and likeness of God? And Fuentes sort of agreed. But you saw what I wrote. I'm like, there are some wolves out there trying to convince folks who don't know what to believe anymore. I don't want to eat any sheep. So I don't trust the guy. But I think the point should be, in this day and age, anybody can talk and get a following. And the idea of I cancel them from radio appearances and TV appearances, and we can't listen to those folks.
That's not that.
That's just not the world we live in anymore.
That's right.
For better or for worse.
That's right. I mean, we're at the point now where everybody has a phone. So if you got a phone, you can talk and get a following. So, I personally, there are parts that Nick, certain areas he goes into that I agree with him on.
Sure.
And there's other areas that I think he just is talking too much and saying too much. And I think he does believe a lot of that too. But
and we're going to go over time here, but like actually Dave and Tucker were making the point. People were comparing that Fuentes interview Tucker did with Ted Cruz and how combative he was. Ted Cruz, they go, hey, have some perspective. When Tucker did that interview with Ted Cruz, Cruz was calling not for Trump's one midnight hammer operation and then we're not in. He wanted a complete regime change war. And he's a sitting senator, a very prominent one.
Yeah.
Who kind of flippantly goes, well, the Bible tells me I have to bless Israel and stuff. And it's like, and so that means we need a regime change war in Iran? Really, Ted? Can you back that up? And you could tell Tucker's also, I think, pummeling his past self. Some of this is not about groups. It's about particular individuals he worked with, people like he's known for years. He's tired of their crap.
Yeah.
But Ted Cruz, a sitting senator calling for a regime change war, is a very different animal than a guy who's in his mid-20s who's got a following because of the crap posting and all the crazy crap he said online. It's a little different. Like, think of all the crazy crap you said in your 20s. Like, so doesn't excuse it. It's more like it's a different situation. You're talking to a different beast.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. The impact that Ted Cruz would have being in government, actually making decisions, whereas you got Nick Fuentes, not making decisions, just talking about decisions.
And we got to get out of here before I forget. Y'all go buy Dylan Rings 2 days away. On Thursday night, they're doing their annual Ladies Night Out event. You can wear denim, get some bubbly, get some great stuff there. Unique vendors will be there that evening. First 50 ladies get a swag bag upon entry. I'll line up. I'll have a great spread of food, hors d'oeuvres. And of course, there's a drawing to win a $2,000 diamond and sapphire ring. So grab your girlfriends, get on out to Dylan Rings Thursday night. It's 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off Atlanta Highway. You can always learn more about Dylan Rings on their Facebook page. That's DYLAN Rings. And be sure to tell them Joey sent you. I appreciate your time, Al.
Man, thank you.
That last hour flew by.
It did.
But it was a good one.
You're
asking good questions. And I'm sorry for stealing time, Greg.
Take all you want. Pamela's not going to be here.
What? No.
Oh.
I'm sorry, dude. Anyway.
Or tomorrow.
Oh, God.
And it's Rich Thomas's birthday party tomorrow.
Is the sky falling? Like, what's going on here?
Feels like it.
We'll
Man.
be back tomorrow. Thank you, El. Y'all stay tuned for Greg.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.